Chapter 684. Tu Ling Long, wake up. He's not a human, he's a beast. He's a beast with a human's face. You won't have a good ending if you fall in love with such a man. That's right. The love between humans and demons has always been a tragedy since ancient times. Don't be fooled by that human. He's a stud, the kind that sows seeds everywhere. His reproduction speed is even faster than the rabbit race. There's no good ending if you fall in love with that shameless human. Tu Ling Long, I've seen through you. I liked you so much back then, but I didn't expect you to be such a saintess. Have you never seen a man? You could have chosen anyone, but you chose this kind of trash. The saintess of the demon race actually fell in love with a human and abandoned herself. This is simply a huge scandal. It's worse than being treated as a demon traitor by the crows of misfortune. This matter is simply intolerable. The group of demons clenched their fists. Their killing intense soared, and their lungs were about to explode. Especially when they saw the adulterous couple, Xia Ping and Tu Ling Long, together. They looked like they were passionately in love with each other. Their hearts were filled with evil. They simply couldn't stand this couple for even a second. Human, are you tired of living? You dare to have an affair with the saintess of the demon race. This is a crime punishable by death. With a roar, a ferocious tiger the size of a small mountain stood out. This was the metal tiger. Its eyes contained a terrifying killing intent, causing the forest to tremble. Its 4 powerful limbs stood on the ground, giving off a fatal pressure. Its sharp claws and fangs could tear apart and devour all prey. You dare to sully the saintess of the demon race? You must die. This crime is unforgivable. A demonic bird circled in the sky. Its voice was loud enough to crack rocks. Its body was huge, and when it spread its wings, it had a wingspan of 20 to 30 meters, blotting out the sky. This was the corpse-devouring vulture, an unparalleled demonic bird. It had once dominated an area in the primordial era, eating heavenly demons. It was invincible and was known as the battlefield cleaner. It could swallow thousands of humans in one gulp and digest them quickly. It could be said that its ferocity was even greater than the crows of misfortune. Jie, I heard that killing this human will give us a great reward. I wonder how much we can get. I'm really looking forward to it. The demonic vine tree stood on the ground, its vines dancing about. A pair of eyes appeared on the tree trunk, like the eyes of death. They contained a black aura, and when they looked at living beings, they felt a chill run down their spines. It was as if they were being stared at by the god of death. The surrounding people immediately felt a chill sweep through them, and they couldn't help but shiver. The 3 great demons stared at Xia Ping at the same time, intending to take his life. They exuded an unparalleled, ferocious aura as killing intent surged. Get over here and die. Xia Ping clenched his fists and cracked them. He was itching to kill a few demons to establish his might and capture a few Demon King's descendants to exchange for money. Valiant. The group of humans could not help but sigh. As expected of Xia Ping, despite facing the threat of so many great demons, he remained arrogant, completely disregarding them. This kid probably didn't even know how to write the word fear. Everyone, at that moment, the 3-eyed giant stood forward, hoping to ease the tension. Why the need for weapons? The Heaven Demon Cemetery lies ahead, and the treasures lie ahead. We should join forces to explore the treasure grounds. Humans and demons should join forces to build a harmonious society. That is the way to a win-win situation. If we fight to the death here, both sides will suffer. It will only benefit the evil demons here. The losses outweigh the gains. He wanted to stop the battle because he knew how ferocious the human Xia Ping was. His strength was terrifying beyond compare. If these demons were to step forward, they would definitely follow in his footsteps. That's right. There's no need to fight here. There's no grudge between us. What's the point? The Blackwater Grizzly revealed an honest look. He no longer had his violent temper from before. He was as amiable as a teddy bear. Some of the demons that were familiar with him thought that he was an accomplished monk and had even switched to being a vegetarian. To hell with your brother-in-law. In the distance, a demon immediately cursed. Three-eyed giant, don't think that I don't know your personality just because you pretend to be a peace ambassador. Back then, you were the one who yelled about killing humans, saying that you wanted to kill their entire families and wipe out entire countries. Now, you're King telling me that you want to build a harmonious society and join forces with humans. What kind of win-win situation is this? After you were subdued by humans, did your head get stuffed with shit? You're spouting nonsense all day. He glared angrily at the three-eyed giant, wanting nothing more than to beat him up. That's right, that's right. There's also the Blackwater Grizzly. To think you have the nerve to say such things. There's no grudge between us, so there's no need for a fight. Back in Myriad Demon Mountain, when a demon glared at you, you charged forward and beat him until he was paralyzed and bedridden for 3 months. Why didn't you say that there was no grudge between us back then? Another demon that had a grudge with the Blackwater Grizzly also shouted, "What's the matter now? You become a Buddha and you're a vegetarian. Can a dog change into eating shit? What kind of bewitching potion did that human feed you?" If it wasn't for the Blackwater Grizzly standing in front of it, it would have thought that this guy had been swapped. The Blackwater Grizzly's mouth twitched. It had been exposed. To be honest, back then, it had a bad temper and would beat up any demon it didn't like. However, after being taught a lesson by Xiaoping, it became much more well-behaved and didn't dare to be arrogant anymore. Moreover, it also thought that these demons would just be throwing away their lives if they came. That was why I tried to persuade them with kind words, hoping that there wouldn't be any conflict. But now, it seemed that the result was the opposite of what it wanted. F***CK. Is there a sense of accomplishment after being a traitor? Back then, we even called you guys big brothers. That's so embarrassing. Myriad Demon Mountain raised you guys and cultivated you guys. Who knows how many resources you've spent? Is this how you repay the demons? It's fine if you don't help us, but you're actually standing on the side of humans and trying to stop us. You think you're in the right? I even suspect that you're humans in demon skin. Cut the crap. If you dare to stop us, we'll kill you too. I used to treat you guys as big brothers, but not anymore. From now on, we're no longer friends. Don't say that you know us when we go out. The group of demons was filled with killing intent. They were so angry that their lungs were about to explode from the words of the three-eyed giant and the other demons. It was clearly the demons who had suffered such humiliation, and they were even slapped in the face by humans. These demons even stood out with a strong sense of righteousness, telling them to calm down, get along with each other, and not act rashly. What a joke. Did they really think that demons had no temper? After being slapped on the left side, they still had to put their right side up. It's over, it's over. The three-eyed giant and the other demons' faces all turned green. They had kindly advised these demons not to throw away their lives, but instead, they were seen as traitors and became the dogs of the human race. This was really a case of a dog biting the hand that feeds it. Chapter 685. Die Human. The metal tiger roared and attacked Xiaoping. Whoosh! It waved its huge claws, and instantly, 4 or 5 streams of energy burst out. They were like blades of energy. They tore through the air and surrounded Xiaoping. The energy was invincible and faster than the speed of sound. The surrounding people were shocked. They could feel the terror of the metal tiger's attack. It was no weaker than the attack of a master swordsman. You dare attack me? You must be tired of living. With a so sound, Xiaoping leapt off the one-horned thunderbolt's body and unleashed a punch. A huge fist was formed in the air. It was like the fist of a giant and attacked the energy. Bang! 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 In the blink of an eye, the two forces collided fiercely, causing a loud explosion. The surrounding chi dispersed in all directions like raindrops falling from the sky. When the energy fell on the ground, it was like a meteor had hit the ground, creating deep pits. Soil flew everywhere, and the ground cracked. Is this all you can do, human? Die quickly. The metal tiger sneered. It gave off a terrifying, killing intent. With a dong, it jumped up and turned into a shadow in the air. The huge metal body rushed towards Xiaoping. It was like a small mountain was crashing down. The huge tiger claws were invincible and gave off a cold light in the air. In front of the tiger claws, flesh and blood was a joke. It was not much stronger than a piece of paper. Stupid. Xiaoping did not dodge. He hit the air with his palm. King level superior rank martial skill, slap palm. This palm was extremely fierce. It contained two types of energy. It was like a tide, stacking layer by layer. The roar of a dragon could be faintly heard in the air. Dong! Suddenly, the energy hit the metal tiger's body. It was like a flood of energy exploding into its body. The air shook thousands of times. Ah! Suddenly, the metal tiger's claws couldn't withstand the boundless energy. The energy flowed along its claws and into its huge body, causing it to be sent flying. Even though its body was tough like metal, it was still hurt so badly that it let out a blood-curdling screech. It couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood that splattered onto the ground. It slid hundreds of meters on the ground, creating a deep ravine. It finally stopped. Along the way, it smashed dozens of huge rocks, causing dust to billow. It can't be. How could Metal Tiger lose in a competition of strength? A monster could not believe what he was seeing. That's right. How could Metal Tiger lose? The Metal Tiger was a famous race with divine strength. It was as famous as the lion race and the giant race. Their strength was unparalleled. There were not many monsters that could stop them. Not to mention the humans, they were simply invincible. Among those of the same level, they could hang and beat up the elites of the human race. But now, it was actually no match for this human strength. With just one palm, the Metal Tiger was sent flying like a piece of trash. A clear palm print suddenly appeared on the Metal Tiger's body. The three-eyed giant and the other monsters were helpless. They had fought with Xiaoping before. Of course, they knew that this human was a monster. His strength was even more terrifying than the monsters. He was like a baby divine beast. The three-eyed giant and the other demons were helpless. They had once fought Xiaoping, so they naturally knew that the human was a monster. His strength was even more terrifying than demons like them. He was comparable to a divine beast cub. The three-eyed giant and the other monsters were helpless. They had fought with Xiaoping before. Of course, they knew that this human was a monster. His strength was even more terrifying than the monsters. He was like a baby divine beast. Now, the Metal Tiger still wanted to compete with Xiaoping in strength. Wasn't that like showing off in front of Confucius? What a strong body. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He felt that when he slapped the Metal Tiger, he did not slap a body of flesh and blood. Instead, he slapped a huge piece of titanium alloy. Although the clapless palm was strong, it seemed to be unable to hurt the Metal Tiger's body. Although the Metal Tiger looked miserable, the injury on its body was nothing. It would recover soon. Damn human. How can he be so strong? Not bad. The Metal Tiger stood up from the deep pit. A dangerous light flashed in its eyes. It immediately raised the danger level of Xiaoping by several levels. It had reached the level of a life and death enemy. It would not take him lightly. But this alone is not enough to deal with me, the Metal Tiger. I will let you, lowly human, see what is called the gap. This is the gap that you humans will never be able to match with us monsters. With a swoosh, the Metal Tiger immediately took out a white shell. It was engraved with dense, mysterious runes. It seemed to contain incredible power and emitted a dazzling light. There was no doubt that this white shell was a treasure. Thunder Sound Shell. Someone immediately recognized this white shell and screamed, "This is a mysterious treasure from the endless sea. If you use this Thunder Sound Shell, it can increase the power of the sound waves by 10 times. When this kind of sound waves bursting out, it is like thunder shaking the sky. The roar of the thunder god in the sky is enough to destroy all evils." Roar. The Metal Tiger took out the Thunder Sound Shell, put it in its mouth, opened its bloody mouth, and immediately let out an earth-shattering roar. This is the roar of a tiger. What it used was the Tiger Clan Supreme Sound Wave Martial Arts, Angry Tiger Roar. Once it was used, the power of the Tiger Clan's roar was no less than that of a lion's roar. Coupled with the Thunder Sound Shell, it was like adding wings to a tiger, and the power increased several times. Rumble. Immediately, A circle of terrifying sound waves came from the air, centered on the metal tiger's body, spreading in all directions, rising and falling, completely shaking. The area of several miles was completely enveloped by this sound wave. Such a sound wave, full of destructive aura, condensed in a substance, as if millions of troops were dispatched at the same time. The power of the sound wave turned into swords and rushed towards Xiaoping. Along the way, huge boulders were immediately shattered. After thousands of collisions, no matter how hard the boulders were, they couldn't withstand it and were easily destroyed. Dark North Body Protection Technique. Xiaoping moved his mind and immediately set up a huge energy shield, turning into a reef in the sea. No matter how turbulent the waves were, he still remained motionless. Bang, bang, bang. Layers of condensed sound waves came down, wave after wave, as if they would never stop, and even the power was constantly increasing, stacking up crazily. Even the chi shield of Dark North Body Protection Technique was shaken to a huge ripple, which seemed to form a resonance, to hurt his lungs and completely injure him. What a powerful treasure! Xiaoping's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. Such a roar of a tiger, a sound wave cultivation method he had never seen in his life, and the power was simply infinite. Chapter 686. Although the sound qigong of the metal tiger was very powerful, Xiaoping had already said that he was not the same as before. After being promoted to the 9th heaven of martial master and condensing the power of Gang Qi, the power of his northern dark body protection skill was more than several times stronger. The toughness of Gang Qi was not comparable to that of genuine essence. If his protective shield was only at the level of soil before, now it had evolved to the realm of steel. Ordinary attacks could not break his defense at all. Even with the power of the thunderclap shell, it was impossible to completely defeat Xiaoping. If the metal tiger was promoted to the 2nd heaven of supreme power realm, it was estimated that Xiaoping would be in danger. However, there were no ifs in the world. It was just a monster at the 1st heaven of supreme power realm. Even if the metal tiger was talented, it would be difficult to promote to the 2nd heaven of supreme power realm in a short time. Bang, bang, bang. These powerful sound waves bombarded Xiaoping's body, as if they had been hammered thousands of times, constantly beating out impurities in his body and refining it into well-tempered steel. At the same time, this force also stimulated the medicinal power in his body, constantly refining it into genuine essence, and then through the sun furnace, refining it into Gang Qi. The power in his body grew little by little. When the genuine essence was raised to the extreme, 2 meridians in his body were broken one after another. The genuine essence in his body had greatly increased, and his martial arts cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds. I have to thank this metal tiger. Xiaoping was extremely happy. So far, he had broken through 3 meridians and had taken a big step towards the peak of the 9th heaven of martial master realm. Normally, it would be extremely difficult to break through 1 meridian, but with the help of the metal tiger and the stimulation of the life and death crisis, his martial arts cultivation progressed rapidly. Once he connected 108 meridians and reached the realm of 100 meridians, it would be the time to be promoted to the supreme power realm. What? Even this can't hurt this human being? How strong is this bastard's protective qigong? Even the defense of the Turtle Clan is not so terrible. The metal tiger's eyes widened. It roared desperately and used the supreme sound wave cultivation method of the Tiger Clan, wanting to kill this human being in an instant. But now, when the sound wave qigong bombarded this human being, it was as if it had encountered a reef in the sea. No matter how the waves hit him, he seemed indifferent and stood firm. The Starlight Tortoise saw this scene from afar. Initially, it was lying on the ground and didn't pay attention to its surroundings. However, it was shocked to see that Xiaoping was able to withstand the metal tiger's roar so easily. This was because even within the Turtle Clan, there were barely any turtle demons that could withstand the roar of the metal tiger. After all, the sound wave attack was formless and colorless, and it contained a supreme feminine power. Even if one had a turtle shell to defend against it, it would still penetrate through and directly attack the body, injuring the internal organs. That was why the Tiger Clan's roar Qigong was so terrifying that countless Demon Clan members would tremble in fear upon hearing its name. Little Tiger, is this all you've got? Feeling that Metal Tiger's sound wave attack seemed to have weakened a lot, Xiaoping immediately felt unhappy. He was in the middle of cultivating, and it was time for him to advance by leaps and bounds. How could he let go of this opportunity? Immediately, he said disdainfully, "You're tired after shouting? Didn't you say that you wanted to broaden my horizons? Is this how you widen my horizons? I don't see what's so great about you. I'll tell you directly. I'm standing right here without moving. Metal Tiger, you can't hurt me at all. That so-called Tiger Clan's roar is bullsh asterisk T. I suggest that your Tiger Clan stop roaring and start moaning. It'll be more effective that way. If you do a good job and make me feel better, I can even give you a few bucks." He made his suggestion. The Crow of Misfortune and the other monster's mouths twitched when they heard this. This human's mouth was still as despicable as ever. A dog's mouth couldn't spit out ivory. He was infuriating the monsters to death. Even though they were outsiders, they still wanted to beat this bastard to death. "Moan your ass." Metal Tiger's nose was crooked from anger. "My Tiger Clan's roar Qigong was renowned throughout the world. When we conquered all the races in the world, you humans were just monkeys that only knew how to climb trees. You're so arrogant after just a little bit of protection. How dare you look down on my Tiger Clan's martial path divine skill? Do you Asterisk King want to die?" It couldn't stand this human for even a second. It was fine if he insulted it, but he even insulted the Tiger Clan's reputation. He was simply trying to form a death grudge with the Tiger Clan. Suddenly, its demonic energy burst out. The demonic energy was so monstrous that a deep pit was formed on the ground, and all of it was poured into the Thunder Sound shell. Immediately, mysterious runes gushed out of the Thunder Sound shell and grew several times larger. It seemed to have turned into a horn, and a strong aura was emitted from it. "Roar!" Metal Tiger roared again. With the amplification of the Thunder Sound shell, the power of the sound wave was increased by 10 times. The sound wave had already condensed and created all kinds of strange phenomena. "Damn it, Metal Tiger is going crazy. Hide. If you don't, you'll die. Bastard, this Metal Tiger is crazy. Not only did he kill that human, but he also wants to kill us. He's trying to get us into trouble. He's so unlucky." The surrounding demonic geniuses and human elites were shocked. Their faces turned pale because such a sound wave attack didn't differentiate between friend and foe. Furthermore, it was an area of effect attack. Some of the demons and human geniuses who were closer to the Metal Tiger fled in fright. Without a doubt, if they continued to stay in this place, they would definitely be attacked. The weaker ones would even be shocked to death. Rumble, sound waves spread out from the Thunder Sound shell and covered the entire space. It was like a bulldozer crushing in all directions. Huge rocks on the ground were shattered, and more than a dozen cracks appeared on the ground. Dozens of tons of soil flew out and smashed into the distance, forming a small hill. Some monsters and humans who didn't dodge in time were sent flying by the sound wave. Their lungs were injured, and they coughed up blood in midair. Xiaoping was also sent flying. He slid for 100 meters before he stopped. A trace of blood seeped out of the corner of his mouth. He was obviously slightly injured. Needless to say, this Metal Tiger's rage and the power of the Thunder Sound shell already had the ability to hurt him. However, not only was he not angry, but he was also extremely excited. Because of the impact just now, he had opened up another meridian, and his true essence was increasing crazily. Chapter 687. Bastard, you're not dead yet. When a Metal Tiger saw that Xiaoping was not killed by its tiger roar and was still standing in the same place as before, it was driven mad and driven mad. The attack just now had consumed more than half of its demon power. It was a powerful attack with terrifying destructive power. Even a Grandmaster of the Turtle Clan should not have been able to withstand it. However, Xiaoping, a human, had blocked it. It was very unwilling. Still not dead? I was just playing with you. Do you really think that you have 3 heads and 6 arms and can suppress the others? If I want to kill you, it will be like killing a chicken. Xia Ping's aura shook, and a terrifying aura burst out, forming a unique aura that crushed the surrounding area. The surrounding demons and humans felt like a mountain was crushing down on them, making it hard for them to breathe. He felt that the battle with the metal tiger had basically no effect on him, so there was no need to continue playing with it. What? Before the metal tiger could react, Xia Ping instantly moved. Using the Kuan Peng step, he arrived beside the metal tiger in an instant and punched it. Dong! The force of the punch burst out, and the metal tiger's entire body was smashed away. A clear fist mark appeared on its metal body, and the horrifying chi shook crazily. The metal tiger could not help but cry out in pain. It suddenly found that Xia Ping's speed and strength were incomparable to before. Bang! 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 Xia Ping's punches were like lightning. Dense fist marks appeared in the void, like a sky full of raindrops, and fiercely bombarded the metal tiger's body, exploding with a terrifying force. Immediately, the metal tiger was hung up like a ball, and dense fist marks appeared on its body. It was like a piece of metal that was constantly being hammered and kneaded. Bastard damn human! The metal tiger felt extreme anger in its heart. In the battle, just now, this bastard human was just playing with it. He looked down on demons too much. However, it felt that Xia Ping's fists were like a storm, and there was no time to rest. It was like a small boat in a storm, as if it would be destroyed in the next second. Interesting. I can't beat it to death. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He found that he had punched the metal tiger hundreds of times, and each punch contained fatal fist energy. However, the metal tiger just couldn't be killed. It was as if the energy couldn't penetrate its lungs, and it couldn't cause any fatal injuries. It was as tenacious as a cockroach. Haha, human, your attacks are useless against me. I'm the metal tiger of the tiger race. I devour all kinds of metals to survive. I am practically a metal life form. Metal tiger laughed proudly. Your punches will only help me refine my body and get rid of impurities. You can't hurt me at all. You can't kill me. The metal tiger was considered a special race even among the tiger clan. They devoured all kinds of precious metals to strengthen their bodies. The more precious the metal, the stronger the metal tiger. Legend had it that there was a metal tiger that swallowed a piece of chaotic divine metal and obtained a trace of the characteristics of chaotic divine metal. It was indestructible, and no magic could invade it. It became an invincible demon god that suppressed the universe. It could be said that the bloodline of the metal tiger was not inferior to that of any mythological beast. It had the characteristic of unlimited evolution, which also made its vitality as tenacious as a cockroach. Are you kidding me? I can't kill you. You're just a little grandmaster monster. How much of the world has you seen? Even gods and demons that claim to have lived for eternity would die. Facing the twilight of the gods, a little monster dared to boast shamelessly. Today, I'll show you that your so-called metal body is nothing but trash. With a bang, Xia Ping instantly took out the Hell Spear. With his body as the center, a terrifying hell aura immediately burst out, sweeping out in all directions. The Crow of Misfortune and the other monsters had goosebumps all over their bodies. Feeling a fatal threat, the human Xia Ping who took out the Hell Spear was in his strongest state. He stood in place, and the aura of hell burst out, covering the sky and covering the earth. He was like a future god of the underworld, the supreme overlord of hell. Damn, you have a treasure weapon too? Feeling the power, the metal tiger's face, which was still feeling proud, suddenly turned green. It could clearly feel the terrible threat coming from the Hell Spear. The tip of the spear seemed to contain a trace of the blood of gods and demons. This Hell Spear had once killed creatures from hell and suppressed countless tyrannical enemies. The aura coming from it was indestructible, as if it was going to pierce through the soul. Dong! Xia Ping held the Hell Spear tightly and stabbed it forward. It was as if he was going to poke a hole in the sky. Nothing could survive in front of this treasure weapon. The metal tiger was caught off guard. Its huge, hard body, which was said to be indestructible, was as fragile as tofu at this moment. The Hell Spear pierced through it in an instant. Splash! A large amount of metal-like blood flowed from the metal tiger's body, dyeing the ground red. It was like a barbecue skewer. The hell spear fiercely nailed it to the ground, causing it to twitch and scream. Now, it was exhaling more than it was inhaling. The metal tiger lost. A monster's eyes widened, completely dumbfounded. Before, the metal tiger had the upper hand, and Xia Ping could only passively defend. But suddenly, the human Xia Ping showed his power, as if he was on drugs. With just one move, the metal tiger was crippled. It was nailed to the ground like a barbecue skewer, and it no longer had the strength to fight. This human is so strong that it makes me shiver. Many monsters were trembling. The metal tiger was one of the top monsters among the many heaven's favorites of the demon clan. It was not invincible, but it was not far from it. But now, it was easily defeated by a small human and nailed to death with one spear. This result was really shocking, and a sincere fear arose in their hearts. No way. This kid is only a martial master night sky. How can he fight against a master realm monster? It's not as simple as fighting. It's a defeat. Do you know what defeat is? This is sick. I've never heard of it. Since when can a martial master defeat a master? I've never heard of it. Damn it. Where did this guy come from? Even a descendant of a king can't compare to him. Many human heaven's favorites were completely stunned by this scene. Although they had always thought highly of Xia Ping, it seemed that they had greatly underestimated his ability. They originally thought that, with Xia Ping's strength, even if he advanced to the martial master night sky, he would not be able to act like a tyrant in the sky demon battlefield and would probably behave for a while. Chapter 688. Swoosh. Just as Xia Ping was about to end the metal tiger's life, a terrifying gust of wind came from the back of his head all of a sudden. Such an attack was extremely vicious. It chose the blind spot of Xia Ping's vision and broke through the sound barrier. It wanted to assassinate Xia Ping instantly and end his life. Everyone saw that the one who attacked was the demonic vine tree. It silently appeared behind Xia Ping, and a vine came from afar. It was like a flying sword, streaking across the sky with a terrifying aura. Xia Ping's mental energy covered the surroundings. He had long sensed the murderous intent of the demonic vine tree. He slapped back with his palm. Bang! The palm and the vine clashed violently, producing a loud sound and dazzling sparks. A strong force rushed out, stirring up a strong gust of wind. You're courting death. Xia Ping was forced to retreat from the attack. His eyes were filled with murderous intent as he stared at the demonic vine tree that wanted to assassinate him. If it wasn't for his vigilance, he might really have been killed by the demonic vine tree. Everyone, the demonic vine tree spoke, "Don't be polite with this human. There's no justice to speak of with such a despicable human. Let's attack together and kill this human here. Only then can we wash away the humiliation of our demon race. This kid must die." It was extremely sinister. It directly invited the surrounding demons to attack Xia Ping together. In a one-on-one fight, there might not be many demons who could be a match for this human. But in a group attack, no matter how strong this human was, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. That's right. If he dares to do this, we'll do the same. He snatched the saintess of our demon race, and even made the genius of our demon race submit to him as a slave. This is a great humiliation. We must use the blood of this human to wash away this humiliation. Do it. Kill this human. The surrounding demons stared at Xia Ping with murderous intent. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, a thunder ape in the distance made its move. It was originally standing on top of a small mountain, but in an instant it stomped on the small mountain. It held a metal rod in its hand and descended from the sky, smashing it towards Xia Ping. This rod had the power to shatter a mountain. It was as if it could reverse the situation and calm the ocean. Xiao, a corpse-devouring vulture, also moved. Without saying a word, it descended from the sky like a supersonic plane, tearing through the air. Its sharp beak formed a piercing air current, wanting to pierce through Xia Ping's body. This was a peerless demonic bird that possessed a heaven-overflowing ferocious might. Any human who saw it would feel incomparably terrified, and now, It was targeting Xiaoping with malicious intent, erupting with an extremely terrifying killing intent. Bang! A widow spider that was more than 10 meters long also jumped over. It spat out a large amount of black silk that covered the sky and covered the earth. It set up a trap that was like a heavenly net that wanted to envelop Xiaoping's entire body. Everyone was aghast because the spider race's spider silk was equivalent to a super fiber, incomparably tough. Even if one used the strength of 1,000 caddies, they would not be able to break free. Once a prey fell into the spider's trap, the more it struggled, the more it was bound. Furthermore, the spider silk contained a terrifying poison. If the poison were to seep into a human's body, even a Zhongshe pinnacle expert would immediately become weak and fall to the ground. A few powerful demons attacked at the same time, wanting to kill Xiaoping. It's over. The surrounding humans all had serious expressions. Now that Xiaoping was being targeted by so many geniuses of the demon race and was being besieged, the odds were against him. You want to bully us with more demons? Ridiculous. Do you think you're the only ones with helpers? Crows of misfortune, go and destroy them. Xiaoping didn't even look at them and directly gave the order. He didn't spare the lives of the crows of misfortune just to look good. Yes, big brother. Hearing this, the crows of misfortune immediately attacked. They descended from the sky like a dark cloud and instantly collided with the corpse-devouring vultures in the sky. The three-eyed giant struggled in its heart, but it was still afraid of death and didn't dare to disobey Xiaoping's order. It picked up its mace and charged toward a widow spider. The one-horned thunderbolt, the black water explosive bear, and even Tu Linglong all attacked at the same time to deal with the demons that wanted to attack Xiaoping. The 5 geniuses of the demon race attacking at the same time was simply earth-shattering. They were equivalent to 5 powerful Zhongshe pinnacles, and this kind of power was enough to sweep through a large group of demons. It was as if the human race had Lu Chao, Bai Qingqing, and Feng Qiudao attacking. Their power was boundless. This scene immediately caused the surrounding monsters to curse out loud. Damn, these bastards really sided with the humans. Damn, are they addicted to being watchdogs? When their master is in danger, they will immediately help, right? Destroy these demons and get rid of the scourge for the people. The crows of misfortune and the others are no longer part of the demon race. They are just humans in demon skin. The group of demons were all angry. Before, they only suspected that the crows of misfortune and the others had sided with Xiaoping. However, after seeing them attack their fellow demons, they no longer had any doubts. These bastards had definitely become traitors to the demons and become the dogs of the human race. Kill. Seeing the crows of misfortune and the others taking action to fend off the other demons that wanted to attack, Xiaoping instantly teleported in front of the demonic vine tree and punched it. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, the devil vine tree waved its hundreds of vines. There were like countless tentacles that attacked Xiaoping like crazy. It was as if hundreds of people were besieging Xiaoping. Each vine was extremely hard. They were like spears that could pierce through anything. Even an impenetrable wall couldn't withstand a single strike from these vines. However, Xiaoping's punch was extremely terrifying. He used the power of the golden crow of hell. It was like a divine beast had appeared and destroyed everything in its path. Boom! Suddenly, the vines that were attacking Xiaoping were instantly shattered into countless pieces. They fell to the ground and created a deep pit, causing smoke and dust to billow. However, in just a few breaths, the broken vines on the devil vine tree rapidly grew back. The shattered vines had no effect on its combat power. This was the terror of the devil vine tree. It was said to be able to fight against an army of demons. Its vines danced as if a grandmaster had appeared and turned into a spear that pierced the enemy. Fighting against the devil vine tree was equivalent to fighting against a group of grandmasters. Human, you are still 100 years too early to fight against me. Die obediently. The devil vine tree's face was ferocious. It waved its vines and shadows of spears appeared in the air. It was extremely fast. Regenerative power? Let's see if you can regenerate after I burn you to ashes. Xiaoping's eyes flashed coldly. He used the pure yang immortal spell. Flames shot out of his 108,000 pores and shot into the sky. Chapter 689. Boom! Xiaoping punched. It was like a fist of the sun. Flames containing the essence of the sun burst out, transforming into a flaming divine bird that flew towards the vine tree. Whoosh! Suddenly, the vine tree came into contact with the flames. It was like fire meeting oil. It burned wildly, spreading along the vines to its entire body. Damn it! What kind of flames are these? Why can they hurt me? The vine tree screamed in terror. It suddenly realized that the flames were too terrifying. They were extremely hot. Once it touched his body, it was impossible to extinguish it even if one wanted to. Bang! It was a decisive creature. Sensing that it could not extinguish the flames, it immediately cut off its tail to save itself. It cut off the burning vines so that it would not be burned. After all, these vines were its own tentacles, which were equivalent to its organs. Breaking a single one of them would cause it to be in so much pain that it would be half dead. It would also greatly damage its vitality. Cutting off its tail to save itself? You are indeed ruthless and decisive. But do you think you can live like this? Xiaoping would not give the vine tree a chance to escape. He struck out with his palm. King-level martial technique, Buddha's palm. This palm technique also contained the power of the pure yang immortal spell. A large amount of flame power surged in, increasing the power of this palm technique limitlessly. Immediately, a Buddha rose into the air. The huge golden hand was wrapped in terrifying flames. It was as if the Buddha was enraged. Everything within 1,000 miles was scorched red, destroying the heavens and the earth. Dong! This palm landed solidly on the vine tree. Suddenly, a golden palm print was engraved on its trunk. Endless flame power seeped in and surged into its lungs. Rumble! The flames transformed into miniature flaming birds that scurried around the vine tree's body. They caused a great fire that burned from the inside out. The vine tree turned into a huge torch that became fuel for the flames. No, no, no. Spare me. Spare my life. The vine tree screamed wildly. It was in great pain. The power of regeneration was of no use at all, because the speed of regeneration was not as fast as the speed of destruction. For the first time, it felt the preciousness of life. It was as if the god of the underworld had arrived. It was terrified. It hoped that Xiaoping would spare its life. Die! How could Xiaoping allow such a cruel and vicious monster to continue living? He would never forget that this demonic vine tree had dealt a fatal blow to his back. It wanted to assassinate him. It wanted to take his life. For such a two-faced, cunning, and vicious monster, he would never spare its life. Leaving it alive would only be a scourge, and he would have to worry about the other party's schemes at all times. Since that was the case, he might as well destroy it immediately and put an end to all troubles once and for all. Even if he wanted to capture some demon monarch descendants to exchange for money, he wasn't such an ingrate. Bang! Xiaoping struck out with his palm again. Terrifying flames surrounded the demonic vine tree's body. The raging flames engulfed the demonic vine tree's body completely, as if it was bathed in flames. Human, I won't let you go. Even if I become a ghost, I won't let you go. The demonic vine tree let out a mournful scream. Even if it wanted to cut off its tail to survive, it was impossible, because the flames erupted from within, covering its entire body from the inside out. There was no way to block it. In just a few breaths, the demonic vine tree's voice gradually weakened. After a while, it no longer made any sound. What was left on the ground were black charcoal and a large amount of black dust. The air was still filled with the smell of burning. It was extremely unpleasant. The demonic vine tree was dead. No way, he really killed the demonic vine tree. This guy is trying to defy the heavens. The demonic vine tree is an unparalleled demonic tree with the power to rival an army. Once it becomes a demon monarch, it will definitely be an invincible monarch. But now it was killed by Xiaoping. Unbelievable. Whether it's a one-on-one fight or a gang fight, the demonic vine tree's power is second to none. It also has the ability to regenerate, but this kid actually killed it. That flame is too terrifying. Even the demonic vine tree was burned to death. This kind of power is no less than the legendary Samadhi true fire. Unbelievable. Many of the human race's geniuses were completely dumbfounded. They watched as Xiaoping killed the demonic vine tree all by himself. He did it without the help of others. This kind of achievement was enough to shock the entire cloud world. Bastard human, how dare he kill our fellow demons? We will not rest until he is dead. The human geniuses were shocked, but the demons were frightened and angry. Seeing that the demonic vine tree was killed by Xiaoping without being able to save it in time, they could not restrain their anger. However, no matter how angry they could not do anything to Xiaoping. Moreover, there were 5 spies from the demon clans helping to stop him. Even if they wanted to gang up on him, it was impossible. What is this thing? Suddenly, among the ashes on the ground, Xiaoping immediately found a green bead the size of a glass orb. It seemed to be something left behind after killing the demonic vine tree. He reached out his hand and took out the green bead. Suddenly, waves of enchanting power came from the bead. It was like pure life energy, healing all the injuries on his body. Ewood essence. This is the Ewood essence left behind by the demon tree. Xiaoping quickly recognized the true nature of the green bead. This was the legendary Ewood essence. It was said that this was the essence of wood energy, containing majestic life energy. Once consumed, it would immediately increase the body's potential, heal the body's internal injuries, and greatly enhance the martial path's cultivation. This kind of Ewood essence could only be possessed by some demon tree with profound cultivation. It was equivalent to the life essence of a demon tree's entire life. It was incomparably precious, no less than 1,000-year-old spirit herb. If consumed, it would definitely greatly enhance the martial path cultivation. I'm rich. This kind of Ewood essence is simply priceless. It can't be bought outside. Xiaoping was very excited. He did not expect to obtain such a harvest after killing the demonic vine tree. In the cloud world, real treasures had no price. They would not circulate in the market. Even if one had money, they could not be bought. This Ewood essence was such a treasure. Eat it. Thinking of this, Xiaoping immediately swallowed the Ewood essence and put it into his stomach. Immediately, he felt that his body was filled with power. Waves of green energy spread to his limbs and bones, repairing the damaged parts of his muscles, bones, meridians, and other parts. Although this Ewood essence did not immediately enhance his martial path cultivation, it turned into potential and integrated into his body. If he continued to develop it, he would definitely be able to completely refine the entire Ewood essence. Chapter 690. It's not over yet. After swallowing the Ewood essence, Xiaoping was in high spirits. His injuries had mostly recovered, and his strength and mental strength had almost reached their peak. He was in an unprecedented good state. He turned around and saw that the Crow of Misfortune and the other monsters were still fighting with the enemy. However, he could clearly see that the Crow of Misfortune and the others were simply going easy on them. Even though the enemy attacked fiercely, they did not attack ruthlessly. They only defended and counterattacked. After all, they were all monster companions. Even though they had no choice but to attack because of Xiaoping's orders, they could not bear to kill these monsters ruthlessly. It's already come to this, and they still want to be merciful? What kind of monster marriage is this? What a joke. I won't allow this to happen. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes, revealing a cold glint. Since the other party did not want to attack, he would give the Crow of Misfortune and the others a push. Brother Giant, the situation doesn't look good. Let me help you. At this moment, Xiaoping immediately attacked. He came to the three-eyed giant's side. The other party was fighting the widow spider. Both sides were fighting brilliantly, but the three-eyed giant always avoided the strong points and did not attack ruthlessly. As a result, the widow spider had the upper hand, forcing the three-eyed giant to retreat. No need. I can handle this little spider. Go help elsewhere. The Crow of Misfortune and the others need you. Seeing Xiaoping come over, the three-eyed giant's face turned green. He was scared half to death. In order to protect the widow spider's life, He had been going easy on them and fighting a friendly match. If Xia Ping, the bastard who wanted to see the world in chaos, came over, he would definitely not go easy on them. Would the widow spider still be alive? Immediately, he refused and told Xia Ping not to come over, saying that he could handle it alone. Don't be so polite. We're all brothers, and we'll live and die together. It's only right for me to help. Don't be so polite with me, Xia Ping shouted. He immediately rushed over and slapped the widow spider. Immediately, a giant flaming palm came crashing down from the sky. The surrounding air crackled and burned, and the temperature rapidly rose by dozens of degrees. Whoosh! The widow spider immediately let out a shrill scream. The spider silk it spat out was immediately burned by the flames. The silk broke and turned into nothingness. It was to the extent where the flames condensed into divine birds. They flapped their wings and carried out a suicidal attack. They pounced towards the widow spider and set its entire body aflame. As a spider, it was most afraid of fire. It could be said that fire was the nemesis of the spider race. In an instant, it was surrounded by flames as if it was caught and roasted. The air was filled with the smell of burning. Thank you, Brother Giant. If you hadn't pestered it and forced it to reveal an opening, I wouldn't have been able to cripple it so easily. As expected of an outstanding descendant of the three-eyed giant tribe, your strength is truly impressive, Xia Ping said carelessly. The spider widow on the ground let out a shrill scream. She glared at the three-eyed giant. Three-eyed giant, you damned traitor of the demon race. As the young chieftain of the three-eyed giant tribe, you colluded with humans to kill your fellow demon race members. I won't forgive you even if I become a ghost. It shouted at the top of its lungs. It wanted nothing more than to kill the three-eyed giant. If it hadn't stopped it, the human Xia Ping would have already been killed by it. How could it have fallen for Xia Ping's vicious tricks and become a prisoner? The three-eyed giant's face turned green. It felt that it was more wrong than Do-yi. It had clearly been holding back in the battle for the Spider Widow's life. However, the Spider Widow believed that it was the main culprit. Instead, it was very resentful of it. It was as if it had become an irreconcilable enemy. Who could it reason with? Brother Crow, I'm here to help. Xia Ping saw the crow of misfortune and the corpse-devouring vulture fighting in midair. The two demonic birds were fighting crazily like two supersonic airplanes. Every time they collided, there would be an earth-shattering boom. Although it looked very powerful, the crow of misfortune didn't even use its treasures. It had been suppressing its death aura, as if it didn't want to kill the corpse-devouring vulture so quickly. However, this method was also seen through by Xia Ping. No need. I'll take care of it in a few minutes. The crow of misfortune immediately cried out. It had seen the three-eyed giant's opponent, the Spider Widow's fate. It was tragic. It was almost burnt to a crisp on the spot. If it wasn't for the spider's tenacious vitality, it would have been killed by Xia Ping's palm. However, it wasn't much better now. If it still needed Xia Ping's help, the corpse-devouring vulture would be dead. Boom! Xia Ping ignored the crow of misfortune's cries. The moment the two demonic birds collided, he found a gap in the battle. He stepped on the ground and jumped up. He grabbed a huge rock in his hand. It was the size of a millstone. In an instant, he jumped hundreds of meters into the air. Immediately, he smashed the rock towards the back of the corpse-devouring vulture's head. The poor corpse-devouring vulture had exhausted its strength just by fighting the crow of misfortune. It didn't notice that there was a sinister human plotting against it. Caught off guard, it was hit in the back of the head with a brick. Suddenly, the corpse-devouring vulture let out a shrill scream. Its head was bleeding, and its huge body fell from the sky. Because the force of the blow was too great, the millstone-sized rock was shattered. The corpse-devouring vulture's entire body smashed into the ground, creating a deep pit. More than a dozen cracks appeared, stretching for hundreds of meters, and gravel flew everywhere. Instantly, it felt dizzy from the explosion. It lost the strength to fight, and its head swelled up several times. The pain was so excruciating that it tore its heart and lungs apart. Thank you, Brother Crow. As expected, The two of us are very close and invincible when we work together. What bullsh asterisk T demon race geniuses, corpse-devouring vulture, and whatnot. It's just a matter of a stone. They'll be dizzy and won't be able to take care of themselves for the rest of their lives. Xiaoping revealed a look as if he had long been in cahoots with the Crow of Misfortune. Crow of Misfortune, you're a disgrace to my bird race. The corpse-devouring vulture was furious. If it weren't for the lowly Crow of Misfortune, it wouldn't have fallen for Xiaoping's plot. Now that it had fallen into the hands of this damned human, it would be better off dead than alive. No, it's not like that. The Crow of Misfortune was very aggrieved. It clearly wanted to go easy, but why did this bastard say that it became a tool to attract the other party's attention? He even cooperated with the human. Bullsh asterisk T. The corpse-devouring vulture didn't believe a word from the Crow of Misfortune at all. With a face full of grief and indignation, it said, Crow of Misfortune, I'm absolutely irreconcilable with you in this lifetime. I won't rest until one of us dies. Just you wait. Chapter 691. The Crow of Misfortune felt extremely aggrieved. It felt more wrong than dough. Things were clearly not like this. It was a good demon, but how did things turn out like this? Nothing happened to this bastard human, and it became a rat that everyone wanted to beat up. The vulture fell to the ground with blood oozing out of its head. It no longer had any strength left. Xiaoping's brick had made it dizzy. However, it didn't hate Xiaoping. Instead, it hated the Crow of Misfortune. If not for this demon, it wouldn't have ended up like this. Brother Bull, Brother Bear, Little Rabbit, let me help you. Xiaoping ignored the Crow of Misfortune's thoughts. After knocking out the vulture, he stared at the one-horned Thunder Bull, the Blackwater Explosive Bear, and Tu Linglong's opponent. It was a thunder ape that seemed to know how to control lightning. At the same time, it was also a staff grandmaster. Its martial cultivation was not inferior to any other prodigies. It was extremely powerful. It fought 1 against 3 and tied with the one-horned Thunder Bull, the Blackwater Explosive Bear, and Tu Linglong. It was also a demon prodigy that could match the Crow of Misfortune and the other demons. Of course, it was mainly because Tu Linglong and the others had deliberately held back. That was why the Thunder Ape could be so relaxed. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to fight against the 3 demon prodigies. After all, Tu Linglong was also extremely powerful. She was the saintess of the demon race. A kick from her would probably kill it. There's no need. The faces of Tu Linglong and the other demons turned green. They had seen the widow spider and the vulture's fates. They were seriously injured by Xiaoping's slap, and their fates were unknown. If this bastard continued to attack, the Thunder Ape would probably be in trouble. Don't be so polite. We're all on the same side. If bullying you is bullying me, I'll go over and beat this Thunder Ape up. I'll skin it alive for dinner tonight. Xiaoping shouted at Tu Linglong and the other demons. Tu Linglong, the one-horned Thunderbolt, and the Blackwater Explosive Bear looked at each other and saw the determination in each other's eyes. If they let this bastard attack, things would definitely get out of hand. Therefore, they had no choice but to be ruthless to the Thunder Ape to save its life. Boom, the one-horned Thunderbolt was the first to erupt. The horn on its head was like a lightning rod. Terrifying purple lightning gathered on the horn and shot towards the Thunder Ape like an immortal lightning cannon. In the void, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled as they crackled. There was even the smell of burning. The surrounding demons could sense the terrifying lightning powers. Without a doubt, the single-horned Thunderbolt had gone all out. Bang! The Blackwater Explosion Bear was not to be outdone. It swatted with its paw and controlled the flow of water. Dark clouds gathered in the sky and quickly formed watermelon-sized water balls. These water balls condensed into a solid form and fell from the sky like cannonballs. They covered a large area and bombarded the Thunder Ape as if it was being bombarded by a bomber. Dong! Tu Linglong's attack was the simplest, but it was also the most ferocious. She kicked out with the force of a rabbit kicking an eagle, causing the air to explode in that instant. The purest form of power also contained the most terrifying destructive power. It was as if a primordial giant had awakened. With a single kick, it had the power to shatter the heavens and crack the earth. Even a mountain would crumble under this kick. F***, these three demons. The Thunder Ape had originally thought that he was very brave and had unparalleled power. He had fought one against three and had beaten the three famous demon race prodigies to the point of fleeing like a rat. He was feeling very proud of himself and wanted to finish it off in one go. But who would have thought that these three demons would suddenly become so ferocious as if they were injected with hormones? Their strength was more than 10 times stronger than before. It was terrifying to the point of being shocking. Bang! It was originally used to the rhythm of the battle, but Tu Ling Long and the others suddenly became so ferocious that it was stunned and couldn't react at all. A lightning power as thick as a water bucket blasted towards its head, charring its entire body. Even its hair was burnt, turning it into a bald monkey. The air was filled with the fragrance of roasted meat. Thousands of water balls fell from the sky like thousands of bombs. They were extremely heavy and ruthlessly smashed onto the Thunder Ape's body. All the bones in its body were broken, and its lungs were severely injured. The most terrifying one was still Tu Ling Long. She dealt the fatal blow and kicked the Thunder Ape's face at lightning speed. Its face was deformed, and 5 or 6 of its teeth flew out. Boom! Its entire body flew backward, causing the air to explode. After flying for 2 to 3 kilometers, it finally smashed into a mountain wall in the distance. The small mountain seemed to have collapsed from the impact, and huge cracks appeared on the hundreds of tons of rocks. With a puff, the Thunder Ape couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. It no longer had the strength to fight. A pitiful demon race genius was ganged up on and beaten until his head was swollen like a pig. Whoosh! The one-horned Thunderbull, Blackwater Explosive Bear, and Tu Ling Long came before the Thunder Ape helplessly. I'm sorry. Beating you up now is for your own good. If we wait for that human to attack, you might be killed by him. I'll have to suffer a little for now. The one-horned Thunderbull shook its head. It didn't want to attack either, but it was forced by Xiaoping. Otherwise, the Thunder Ape would suffer even more. Go my ass. The Thunder Ape was infuriated. It glared at the one-horned Thunderbull. You're still pretending? Beating me up is for my own good. Why don't you try getting beaten up by me? You're already a demon traitor, yet you're still pretending. Don't pretend to be a traitor. You're acting like we're close. Do you think I'll forgive you just because you say that? Its lungs were about to explode. It thought that these three bastards were simply making sarcastic remarks. Beating it up was for its own good. Did these bastards think that they were its dad? Only its dad could say such things in the world. Sigh. Although you don't understand now, you'll slowly understand in the future. The Blackwater Explosive Bear revealed an experienced look. Understand your ass. You bunch of despicable and shameless demons. If it wasn't for the fact that you guys pretended to be weak and lied to me, only revealing your true strength at the crucial moment, how could I have been defeated so easily? The Thunder Ape roared. Just you wait. After I get out of here, I'll definitely settle the score with you. You and I are absolutely irreconcilable. And Tu Ling Long, you and the human Xiaoping are a pair of adulterers. Sooner or later, I'll take care of you as well. It hated these three demons to the core. Bang! Hearing this, Tu Ling Long was instantly angered. She punched the Thunder Ape's head, instantly knocking it out. It started foaming at the mouth, and its eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. The Thunder Ape's entire head sunk into the mountain wall. If it wasn't for the Thunder Ape's hard head, that punch would have turned it into minced meat. She stuck out her tongue innocently. Sorry, my hand slipped just now. It's nothing. Chapter 692. Why did you finish it so quickly? Why didn't you wait for me to kill the ape? Xiaoping shouted as he arrived in front of a unihorned Thunderbull and the rest. Wait my ass. The unihorned Thunderbull bared its fangs. If I had waited for you to attack, the Thunder Ape wouldn't have survived. It would have been smashed into meat paste by you. Even a deity wouldn't be able to save it. Although it thought so, it wouldn't say such a thing even if it was beaten to death. It flattered. There's no need for Big Brother to do anything. The three of us are more than enough. Taking care of the Thunder Ape is child's play. It went against its conscience to say such words. Tu Ling Long spat at the bastard human in her heart. If it wasn't for the bastard causing trouble everywhere, she wouldn't have attacked the Thunder Ape. Now, the Thunder Ape and them had become enemies. They had also become spies for the demon race. Who knew how many demons hated them? To be with this bastard human, they were simply unlucky for 8 lifetimes. Nothing good had ever happened to them. Not bad, not bad. Let's capture the 3 captives first and slowly deal with them. Xia Ping decided to capture the 3 demons first and plant fireball bombs on them later. If they obeyed, he would capture them and sell them for money. If they didn't, he would kill them and store them as food. Yes, big brother. The Blackwater explosive bear was the strongest. It immediately went forward and grabbed the unconscious Thunder Ape. It was like a luggage bag and took it away. As for the widow spider and corpse-devouring vulture, they were dragged away by the crow of misfortune and the 3-eyed giant. The metal tiger that had been nailed to the ground by the hell spear was carried away by Xia Ping. The other demons looked at each other, their faces as black as charcoal. The problem was that no one dared to make a move, because Xia Ping's threat was too strong. He alone could suppress several demons. Not to mention the unicorn thunderbolt, the crow of misfortune, the Blackwater explosive bear, the 3-eyed giant, and 2 Linglong. They had already formed a powerful team that could definitely wipe out a group of enemies. If they wanted to deal with Xia Ping, they would have to go all out. The problem was that this kid was a human. There were also a group of elite humans eyeing him. If they made a move, it was hard to guarantee that the humans wouldn't attack. Therefore, once they chose to attack Xia Ping, it was very likely that it would immediately trigger a war between humans and demons. At that time, it would be unknown how many demons would die. After weighing the pros and cons, they did not dare to act rashly. They could only watch helplessly as Xia Ping dragged a few heavily injured monsters away. Far away, the heaven-devouring elephant, starlight tortoise, and the other powerful demons were looking at Xia Ping quietly. Their faces were indifferent, but they did not make a move. Instead, they stood where they were, and the atmosphere was extremely tranquil. It was as if this was just a small matter to them, not enough for them to make a move. This human is not simple. The green one also stood where she was. Her beautiful eyes flickered with mysterious runes that seemed to contain an unfathomable power. She was confident that this human was definitely not her opponent. However, Tu Linglong was currently being held hostage by this human, and it seemed like her life was in the hands of this human. If he acted rashly, he might end up ruining Tu Linglong's life. Thus, she chose to wait and see. She would only make a decision after she found out what had happened to Tu Linglong. In the distance, a group of elite students were completely dumbfounded. They watched as Xia Ping displayed his prowess and continuously dragged a few heavily injured demons, causing them to be so shocked that they did not dare to move and could only watch helplessly. They felt that they were about to become numb. All kinds of common sense in the world had been torn apart by this kid. Xia Ping is simply a monster, an elite student exclaimed. He was completely convinced by this Astra's start. No matter where he went, he would really cause a huge ruckus. He's too strong. This is a genius that can suppress an era. Those of the same generation simply lose their luster when they are beside him. Another elite student shook his head. If he were to put himself in Lin Fan's shoes, he probably wouldn't be able to do what this kid did. Even if he had the strength, he wouldn't dare to do it. Offending so many geniuses of the demon race in one go was equivalent to having a death wish. Crazy wasn't enough to describe this kid's actions. He was simply lawless. If it's not necessary, don't ever provoke this guy. Otherwise, who knows how unlucky you will be. Some of the elite students who had a grudge against Xia Ping were in despair. This kid was already so awesome. If he became a grandmaster, they would have no hope of catching up to Xia Ping. Lu Chao, Feng Qiudao, Bai Qingqing, and the other peerless geniuses couldn't help but clench their fists. As geniuses, they had never suffered any frustration since they were young. However, today was the first time they felt such a strong sense of frustration. It was the first time they felt what it was like to be facing someone they could never catch up to. At this moment, no one made a sound. It was very quiet. Not far from the sky demon graveyard, in a remote valley, Xiaoping brought 4 seriously injured demons to this place. To avoid being seen by others, he immediately injected fireball bombs into the bodies of the metal tiger, the thunder ape, the widow spider, and the corpse-devouring vulture. This kind of thing could not be done in public, so he brought them here. At this moment, they finally knew why the crow of misfortune and the others obeyed the human Xiaoping's orders. It turned out that with such a thing planted in their bodies, their lives were in the hands of this human. So how could they struggle? The crow of misfortune and the others shook their heads helplessly. A few more demons were captured by Xiaoping and forcibly controlled. Their emotions were very complicated, and they had done it themselves. Although they didn't think of themselves as traitors, what they were doing was no different from traitors. Damn human bastard. The thunder ape was very irritable and roared. Do you think you can make me listen to you just because you planted such a thing in me? What a joke. My thunder ape clan fights the heavens and earth. We know all kinds of combat methods, but we don't know what it means to bow our heads and obey. If you want to use such petty tricks to make me obey you, you're dreaming. It had an unyielding temperament. Even if its life was threatened, it would never obey Xiaoping's orders. It would rather die. The widow spider, the corpse-devouring vulture, and the metal tiger all had gloomy expressions. They had the same thought. Even if Xiaoping used such a thing to control them, it was impossible to break their spines. They were the noble demon clan. They were born to be superior, powerful creatures that stood at the top of the food chain. How could they submit to a weak human? Oh, if that's the case, then go to hell. After hearing this, Xiaoping suddenly made a move and slapped down from the sky. Immediately, the slap landed on the thunder ape's head and a tyrannical force erupted. Dong! The thunder ape's head immediately split apart like a watermelon, turning into a mass of meat paste. Chapter 693. Holy sh*t, it died just like that. The widow spider, corpse-devouring vulture, and metal tiger stared with widened eyes. Their eyeballs nearly popped out of their sockets. They never expected Xiaoping to instantly attack and kill the lightning ape with a single palm strike. He didn't even waste his breath. Such a decisive method was extremely ruthless and merciless. They had previously believed that the lightning ape would at most be tortured by Xiaoping with its resistance and not killed. After all, they still had some value to be used. They could be kidnapped and extorted for large amounts of money. The problem was that the punk did not care. If he said he would kill them, he would kill them without any hesitation. Is there anyone else who isn't convinced? Those who are more unyielding and don't know how to bend their backs, feel free to say it. I guarantee that I will kill you and not let you see the sun tomorrow. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back as he looked indifferently at the widow spider, corpse-devouring vulture, and metal tiger. He emitted a terrifying killing intent that seemed to distort the surrounding air. Perhaps killing a demonic vine tree might have caused these demons to misunderstand that he was a soft-hearted person, and they might even have some reservations. But now, he was telling these demons that when he killed demons, there were no taboos. Even if these demon monarch descendants had some value and could be captured and sold for money, their value was not unique and irreplaceable. He had killed a thunder ape and other demon race geniuses. There were many things in the sky demon battlefield, but there were many demon monarch descendants. Capturing any one of them did not matter. The lightning ape thought that he would think highly of it because of its unyielding character and might not attack it. What a joke. As long as it was an enemy, disobeying him meant death. The more unyielding and upright one was, the more they had to die. Once he killed all the unyielding ones, leaving only the soft ones, they would know what obedience was. What he needed were not subordinates that constantly resisted him, but slaves that obeyed his orders. Since the lightning ape did not know what it meant to lower its head, it could die. Did it really think that the world revolved around it? It did not know what death was. If the widow spider, corpse-devouring vulture, and metal tiger still dared act arrogantly, he would kill them all. He would continue capturing demon monarch descendants. After killing 100, there would definitely be a few that knew what obedience was and what it meant to lower their heads. The widow spider, the corpse-devouring vulture, and the metal tiger were all stunned. This was the first time they had seen such a ruthless human. This bastard did not put them in his eyes at all. It seemed that in the eyes of this human, they were no different from ordinary livestock. If they dared to resist, he would kill them all without any hesitation, and he would not care about their status. That human wanted their subordinates, but if they ignored their threats and used any forceful methods to deal with this human, the only outcome for them would be death. There were no exceptions. Widow spider, corpse-devouring vulture, metal tiger. Xiaoping calmly looked at the few monsters. Which of you are not convinced? Feel free to step forward and say it. No, no, no. I'm convinced. I'm completely convinced. The metal tiger was so scared that his legs turned to jelly. He lay on the ground, his whole body trembling. As the saying goes, where there is life, there is hope. It indeed had a noble dignity and an extremely strong self-esteem. Under normal circumstances, it would not submit to humans, but compared to its own life, these things could be abandoned. Big brother, I'll do whatever you want me to do in the future. Even if I have to climb a mountain of swords or plunge into a sea of flames, I won't be a problem. The corpse-devouring vulture looked like a loyal lackey. It no longer had the strong moral integrity it had earlier. Earlier, Xiaoping's action of slapping the thunder ape to death without any hesitation had frightened the corpse-devouring vulture. It was not as valuable as it had imagined. This human killed it without any hesitation. Me too, me too. The widow spider was also trembling in fear. Its huge body was trembling. It could be considered a ruthless character, but it had never seen one this ruthless. Although the dignity of the Yao race was important, its life was just as important. It did not want to die a worthless death like the thunder ape. It still wanted to become a Yao king and dominate the world. When the crow of misfortune and the other monsters saw this, their expressions became incomparably complicated. This human's methods were truly too terrifying. He was practically able to summon clouds and rain with a flip of his hand. The dignified tiger race, the metal tiger, who was known as the king of all beasts, was scared out of its wits. It knelt on the ground and surrendered, not daring to bring up its dignity. The corpse-devouring vulture, the king of the bird race, could be said to be naturally proud and untamed. Even the crow of misfortune refused to submit, but at this moment, it had abandoned its moral integrity. The widow spider was a sinister and cunning monster. It was experienced and extremely cruel, killing people like scything flax. At this moment, it was actually scared out of its wits, trembling like a mouse. If it were an ordinary human, even if they captured the three of them and tortured them severely, they would definitely not be able to make them submit. But now, Xiaoping had subdued the three monsters in a few breaths. It was too unbelievable. This human will definitely be a great enemy of the Yao race in the future. The three-eyed giant could not help but have such a thought. Its fear of Xiaoping had simply risen to the extreme. Boo-hoo! Humans are too terrifying. They really do eat demons. Tu Linglong was also scared out of her wits. Previously, when she saw Sister Blue Phoenix, she had wanted to escape. But now it was all gone. She was completely frightened by Xiaoping and no longer had any thoughts of escaping. Fortunately, we surrendered in time. Otherwise, we would have been dead. The single-horned thunderbull and Blackwater explosive bear exchanged looks, feeling a lingering fear. Thankfully, they were not demons with unyielding temperaments and knew what it meant to be tactful. Otherwise, they would have followed in the thunder ape's footsteps and turned to dust. Seeing these demons temporarily submit, Xiaoping was very satisfied. He estimated that they would not betray him for the time being. They could be considered a temporary force. With that in mind, he asked, "Why are you waiting outside the Sky Demon Graveyard? Aren't there many treasures inside?" Xiaoping found it strange. These demons and humans were waiting outside the graveyard and did not seem to enter. Logically speaking, they should be fighting to be the first to enter. Were they not afraid that the treasures would be snatched away by others if they were a step too late? There were people who entered before, Metal Tiger explained, but a large group of Grandmaster-level evil demons suddenly appeared in the depths of the graveyard. They formed a demonic tide that swept through the area like an army. It was extremely dangerous. The previous batch of demons and humans that entered were mostly dead. Only a few managed to escape. It admitted that the Sky Demon Graveyard was extremely dangerous. Evil demons ran amok, and there were layers upon layers of restrictions. It was precisely because of this that many people were hesitant. They did not know if they should enter the graveyard. All of them waited outside the door and carefully considered it. Therefore, more and more people gathered, but no one dared to act rashly. I see. Chapter 694. Another day passed, and Xiaoping rested in this place for a day. He also ate the thunder ape as dinner, thoroughly roasting it, and its fragrance spread out for several kilometers. It had to be said that the thunder ape was indeed of a demon monarch bloodline. Who knew how many good things it had eaten? Its flesh and blood contained the essence of spirit herbs. It was equivalent to a centuries-old herb with extremely potent medicinal effects. After consuming it, it was rapidly refined by the solar furnace. This greatly increased quintessential essence in Xiaoping's body, which was rapidly absorbed by his cells. He broke through another meridian, and his strength increased. But because the thunder ape was very large, he couldn't finish it immediately. He stored it in his interspatial ring. Since he had to stay here for about 2 months, he needed to store some rations. Let's go. After eating and drinking his fill, Xiaoping immediately gave the order. The Crow of Misfortune and the other demons followed behind him. Soon, they appeared in front of the Sky Demon Graveyard. Immediately, many demons and human elites looked at Xiaoping. Yesterday's battle had thoroughly established his reputation. Even if they didn't fear him, they didn't dare to underestimate him. He had earned his reputation by killing. What's going on? Why are the metal tigers, spider widows, and corpse-devouring vultures following behind this human so obediently? A demon immediately noticed the metal tiger and the other demons behind Xiaoping. It found it strange. The metal tigers and the other demons were famous for being untamed, but now they were so obedient, like battle servants. It was too strange. They must have been subdued by this bastard human. Another monster said with grief and indignation, I didn't expect the bones of the metal tigers to be so soft. They surrendered after a simple scare. I thought these were monsters with backbone and were the role models of the demon race. I didn't expect them to be like this. That's right. Where's the thunder ape? Where did the thunder ape go? I heard they weren't willing to submit, so they were killed by this human and eaten as dinner. Goddamn human. I can't live under the same sky as him. It's rare for someone with a hard bone to be killed, leaving behind a bunch of spineless demons. Is that bastard trying to wipe out the demon race? This is that bastard human's vicious scheme. It's incomparably vicious. Many of the demons gritted their teeth. If not for the fact that they were no match for Xiaoping, they would have swarmed forward to destroy the human and wash away the humiliation. The faces of the metal tiger and the other demons were very dark. They heard many rumors and mocking words, but for their own lives, they endured it. Whoosh! Xiaoping did not plan on speaking to anyone else. He directly stepped into the mountain door that resembled a chaos vortex. The Crow of Misfortune and the other demons hesitated for a moment before quickly following. What? This human actually entered the Heaven Fey graveyard? A demon exclaimed. Doesn't he know how dangerous the Heaven Fey graveyard is? There are hordes of demons, and there are as many traps as rain. 9 out of 10 people will die if they enter. That human is extremely cunning. How could he not know? That's right. That human is also very strong. He also has demon monarch descendants like the Crows of Misfortune as his bodyguards. His chances of survival are greatly increased, so he naturally has no need to fear the dangers of the Heaven Demon Graveyard. Damn it, we can't let this human take the lead. If he finds some treasure inside and becomes a grandmaster, we'll be dead by then. Follow him in. We can't let him snatch away all the treasures. Many demons were alarmed. If Xiaoping entered the Heaven Demon Graveyard and plundered all the treasures inside, they would have nothing left to gain. They would all be left to eat the human's dust. Immediately, none of them could sit still as they rapidly followed. Most importantly, they had been waiting outside for several days. They were already prepared and just lacked an opportunity. Now that Xiaoping moved, all the demons began moving as well. The starlight tortoise, green swan, heaven-devouring elephant, and the other great demons did not fall behind as they followed. Let's go in as well. A glint flashed in the eyes of Feng Qi Dao and company. They had been waiting here for so long for an opportunity for the demons and humans to take action at the same time. With so many experts entering the heaven demon graveyard, even if the graveyard was fraught with danger, they still had the strength to resist. Even if they could not resist, with so many cannon fodder inside, there was still some hope of escaping. However, if only a few of them entered, there would be no such benefits. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. It was not only the demon elites. Even the human elites had the same thought. Under Xiaoping's lead, they all entered the heaven demon graveyard. So, Xiaoping led the crow of misfortune and the other demons into the heaven demon graveyard. After crossing the mountain gate, he immediately realized that he had entered a region as though he had arrived in another world. The sky was dark and filled with dark clouds. There was only a faint glow of dusk, and the air was filled with the aura of loneliness, death, chaos, evil, and many other things. It was as though this place was a land of doomsday. This is the heaven demon graveyard? No way. How is this a graveyard? It's clearly a city. The crow of misfortune stared ahead and immediately revealed a look of shock. This was because what appeared before them was not a barren mountain range, nor was it a gigantic graveyard. Instead, it was a super city so vast that it seemed to have no boundaries. Before them was a gigantic city wall that was 3,000 meters tall. It stretched for thousands of miles like a gigantic dragon that spanned across the land. It was 100 times more spectacular than the Great Wall of Earth. This city wall seemed to have experienced countless years. There were mottled marks on it, and moss grew everywhere. There were even shocking scars on it, such as swords, beast claws, palm prints, and holes. Even after countless years, the scars on it still exuded a shocking, murderous aura. It was unknown what kind of battle the city wall had experienced to cause such scars. This is too terrifying. Metal Tiger was also shocked. The stones of this city wall are not ordinary materials, but earth crystals. That's the rock essence that is born from the depths of countless rocks. It is extremely hard. Even a grandmaster would have to expend a lot of effort to leave a mark on it. It was not only shocked by the vast city wall, but also shocked that the demons of ancient times could take out so many earth crystals as materials to build a city wall. Even if the entire cloud realm was emptied, it might not be able to take out so many earth crystals. As Metal Tiger, he was extremely proficient in all kinds of metals and materials. He could be called a PhD level figure. No one knew better than him how amazing this matter was. These earth crystals probably don't belong to the cloud realm, the three-eyed giant said solemnly. In ancient times, when the demons were at their peak, some mighty figures could grab the stars and the moon. They grabbed the stars from heavens beyond and used them as materials for refining artifacts. Chapter 695. Indeed, the one-horned thunderbolt nodded. I once heard from my elders that there are countless stars in outer space, but not all of them are suitable for living beings. Some of them are metal planets, and their entire bodies are made of hard metal. Some are solar stars that are covered in flames and emit brilliant light. Some are purely composed of water elements that condense into a huge water planet with only marine life. It also knew a lot of ancient secrets. Grab the moon and stars. All the monsters present were fascinated. It was not an exaggeration to say that this kind of ability was divine. Even a monster king would find it difficult to do such an unimaginable thing. The Metal Tiger was even more eager. If it could travel in the void, capture a metallic planet and devour it, it did not know what realm it would reach. However, this was wishful thinking. It did not know what realm it would reach to travel in the void. The gate here is too big. Tu Linglong blinked and looked at the gate in front of her. It was 2,000 to 3,000 meters tall and was extremely wide. Even an aircraft carrier would not have a problem passing through. In the ancient times, many monsters were huge. They were hundreds or thousands of meters tall. If the gate was small, I'm afraid they would not be able to pass through. The black water grizzly also felt that it was very small in front of the wall. If it was in the ancient times, it would be a dwarf. If the monster race was at its peak, how could we let the human race be so arrogant in the cloud realm and destroy them with a single breath? The metal tiger gritted its teeth. It was very unwilling. The current monster race was many times weaker than in the ancient times. Just from this city, it was obvious that it was even more majestic and vast than the myriad monster mountain. Xiaoping glanced at it. If the monster race was so powerful, why were they destroyed? He could hear the tiger's complaint. It was obviously pointing at something. Destroyed, the three-eyed giant and the other monsters were furious. This bastard was really touching their sore spot. He clearly knew that this was a permanent pain for the monster race, but he still deliberately said it. It was obvious that he was poking at their sore spot. They were not destroyed. The metal tiger was indignant. It's just a civil war. In ancient times, hundreds of races stood in great numbers and fought endlessly. No race could avoid a world-shaking war. Even such a majestic city couldn't escape the calamity. It expressed that if not for the internal strife of the demon race, they would not have declined. The only ones who could destroy the demon race at its peak were the demons themselves. No one else could do it. The other demons looked extremely proud. Clearly, they were extremely proud of the glory of their ancestors and could not tolerate others insulting them. Not necessarily. However, Xiaoping did not believe such nonsense. I don't believe that the monsters in ancient times were so stupid. They clearly knew that it would lead to the extinction of their race, yet they still went to war. I feel that they encountered an unstoppable danger that caused all of the ancient era's clans to fall. Just like on Earth, some countries had mastered nuclear bombs and were in a state of balance. They would not easily resort to force, or else it would lead to a world war and the destruction of Earth. He believed that the demon clan of the Cloud Realm was the same. They would also weigh the pros and cons. If it wasn't for a major accident, how could it have led to the fall of the 100 races and countless casualties? No matter how stupid they would not risk mutual destruction by starting a war. Unstoppable danger? Are you kidding? The powerful figures of the demon clan in ancient times could already grab the stars and the moon and roam the void. What kind of danger could destroy the demon clan? The metal tiger snorted. Really? Xiaoping said indifferently. If that's the case, then there is a place in the human territory called the Cloud Mist Mountain. There is a heaven-devouring demon venerable suppressed there. It is a peerless demon. It has lived from the ancient era until now and still hasn't died. If the powerful figures of the demon clan are so powerful, why didn't they kill the demon but suppress it here instead? Just one of these demon sovereigns cost the demon clan so much effort. What if there's more than one of them? Have you thought about it? He felt that the Cloud Realm was full of mysteries and mysteries. Just the heaven-devouring demon venerable in the Cloud Mist Mountain was enough to shock people. Once it came out, it would probably turn the world upside down and change the structure of the entire world. The three-eyed giant and the other demons were silent. They did not know how to answer because there was a similar place sealed in the Wanyao Mountain. It was a terrifying demon. Even the Wanyao Mountain did not dare to take it lightly and was monitoring it at all times. Tu Linglong's eyes flickered. She knew some secrets, but they were too terrifying and could not be revealed casually. Forget it. This kind of thing has nothing to do with us. Let's go into the ruined city and see if there are any treasures left. Xiaoping quickly gave up on this matter. This kind of thing was like history, and it was enough to understand it. If he really wanted to dig deeper, he would probably have to spend a lot of effort. He did not have time to think about this matter. The three-eyed giant and the other demons nodded. The group immediately walked in, crossed the huge gate, and entered the ruined city, heading towards the depths. However, the moment Xiaoping and the others stepped into the ruined city, a dark power that enveloped the entire city began to tremble, spreading thousands of feet underground. It was a huge dark space, and a monster stayed there. It was spherical and completely black, appearing to be in the state of black fog. It did not have a fixed body. It emitted a deep, strange, dark, evil, and other auras. It seemed to gather the darkness of the world. Even the light would be distorted and devoured. Even if a king entered this space, they would probably be crushed to death by the dark power and turned into dust. However, this terrifying beast was bound by huge black chains and was firmly trapped in the dark space. No matter how it struggled, it could not break free from the shackles of the chains. Oh, what is this smell? Such a fragrant aura actually makes my soul tremble. The bloodline of a divine beast. This must be the supreme bloodline of a divine beast. Could it be that a young divine beast has entered this place? A terrifying wave shook the surroundings and spread out, causing the entire space to ripple. The monster let out a buzzing sound, shaking the earth. It became excited. It sensed the aura of the golden crow of hell on Xiaoping's body, and the surrounding black fog rolled wildly. Great, this is really great. If I can devour this human's bloodline, I will definitely be able to escape from here. Damn demon race, they trapped me for 30,000 years. Once I escape, I will definitely exterminate the entire demon race and turn them into nourishment for my soul-devouring beast. They all have to die, they all have to die. It roared crazily, filled with extreme hatred. It had been trapped in this dark space by a small demon race, and its life force was constantly draining away. It would probably turn into dust soon. Chapter 696. 30,000 years ago, the soul-devouring beast descended into this world from outer space. With its main body strength, it devoured everything in the world, thinking that it could destroy all life in this world and devour them into its stomach, allowing it to evolve greatly. But it did not expect that the heavenly demons, even though they were only natives, could display such tyrannical strength. They burned their lives to besiege it, causing it to suffer a crushing defeat and be forcefully sealed. But the heavenly demons did not have it easy either. That great battle nearly wiped out the demon race's upper echelons. Countless races vanished in the long river of history. Even the entire sky realm collapsed, splitting into several huge continents that were beyond recognition. Even with such a terrifying result, the soul-devouring beast still felt aggrieved. The soul-devouring beast race was a cosmic race. Devouring planets was a normal feeding behavior. Countless vital planets had been destroyed by the soul-devouring beast. Now, it had been sealed by some puny demons, unable to come out for 30,000 years. Now, it was extremely weak and its soul was on the verge of being obliterated. To it, this was a great humiliation. It filled it with monstrous hatred. This damned seal can't hold me. I'll break free soon. The soul-devouring beast roared. Its face was hideous, filled with resentment and anger. The surrounding chains rattled, but at this time, bursts of azure light erupted. Countless runes appeared in the void, and in an instant, it was suppressed. Not only could the sealing chains seal its strength, but they could also extract its life force. But the soul-devouring beast's life force was too boundless. Even after tens of thousands of years, its life force had yet to be completely extracted. It was truly terrifying. Rumble, at that moment, the entire dark space trembled. The surrounding chains trembled violently. The soul-devouring beast's body surged with a violent black aura that spread throughout the space and permeated the entire sky demon graveyard. Wisps of dark aura surged into the depths of the evil demons in the sky demon graveyard. It instantly took control of their souls and made them its own. Master! Immediately, all the evil demons in the sky demon graveyard prostrated themselves, seemingly sensing a mysterious power. An unknown mighty existence gazed at them and trembled. Go, capture that human. Kill all the demons that enter this place and devour their flesh and blood. The soul-devouring beast's voice rang out and entered the minds of every nefarious demon. This voice contained supreme might. To it, killing that human and devouring the divine beast bloodline was of utmost importance. However, it did not mean that it would let the other creatures go. No matter how small a mosquito was, it still had some meat. If it swallowed all these monsters, it would definitely increase its strength to break free from the chains. Not to mention that those monsters were the descendants of the ones who sealed it back then. They had a blood feud with it. Therefore, it would not let off a single living being that entered the heaven demon graveyard. Yes, master. The evil spirits bowed their heads and accepted the order. One by one, they began to move. At this moment, the entire sky demon graveyard shook, forming a demon tide. Soon, we'll be able to leave this dark place soon. The soul-devouring beast forcefully endured, its eyes revealing a frightening light. Although it could not break free from the power of this seal, it could still leak out a bit of its power. But just by relying on this power, he could control all the evil fiends in the heavenly demon graveyard at will. Meanwhile, in the heavenly demon graveyard, this ruined city was just too big. It was practically the size of a country. Moreover, every building was extremely tall, easily reaching hundreds or thousands of meters in height. When Xiaoping and the others entered this place, they felt like dwarves entering a giant's kingdom. They felt extremely tiny. After tens of thousands of years, the city had hardly changed. This was because the buildings here were all made of earth crystals and had the effect of not eroding for tens of thousands of years. However, after a tragic war, the entire city had been reduced to ruins. Broken walls were everywhere, and there were almost no intact buildings. The ground was filled with potholes. Xiaoping and the others stepped on the crushed stones on the ground, producing a loud thud. In this silent city, it was as if they were hearing the divine sounds of ancient battles, causing one's heart to palpitate. Look, there's a treasure artifact over there. Suddenly, the one-horned lightning bull cried out in surprise. It discovered a building in the distance. There was a purple sword floating in the air, emitting a purple light. From time to time, the sword would spit out sword light containing divine might. With the purple sword as the center, it emitted a unique aura. The surrounding dust was cleared away, forming an absolute domain, and many evil fiends appeared around it. They were all broken into dozens of pieces, their blood staining the ground. It's definitely a treasure left behind by an ancient demon king. We're rich. We're rich. The Crow of Misfortune was very excited. It could tell that the purple sword was definitely extraordinary. It was a powerful treasure artifact. Once obtained, its combat strength would increase more than tenfold. Don't act rashly. This purple sword is very unusual. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He was not blinded by the treasure artifact in front of him. He instinctively felt that it was extremely dangerous. It was a lethal weapon. What? The Crow of Misfortune and the other demons' mouths twitched. When did this greedy and shameless human become so cautious? Shouldn't he be yelling and snatching the treasure artifact? Haha, look what I found. A treasure artifact. We're rich. We're rich. As expected of the heavenly demon graveyard. With the saints' ruins, we found treasures the moment we entered. This is mine. I'll fight anyone who dares to snatch it from me. At this time, more than a dozen Grandmaster-level demons appeared in the distance. When they saw the purple treasure artifact, their eyes revealed a greedy look. They immediately attacked the treasure artifact, ignoring Xiaoping and the others. Boom! A wolf demon was the first to act. A wolf claw condensed from demonic aura slammed down in an attempt to grab the purple sword. A demon bird was the fastest. It swooped down from the sky, its talons astonishing. It flapped its wings at supersonic speed, containing a terrifying destructive force. It wanted to grab the purple sword in an instant and leave. A leopard demon was not to be outdone. It leaped from hundreds of meters away, creating a phantom image in midair. It produced a terrifying, jumping, and explosive force that instantly cracked the ground. Damn it! The Crow of Misfortune and the other demons were enraged. These fellows were too arrogant. They were the ones who discovered the treasure first, but these bastards dared to snatch it first. They were unscrupulous and too arrogant. Xiaoping did not say a word. He narrowed his eyes and watched. Chapter 697. Buzz, at that moment, the purple sword trembled slightly. Rays of sword light that had solidified flew out in all directions, seeming to contain an astonishing amount of destructive power. The wolf demon that ran the fastest was caught off guard. It didn't expect the purple sword to be able to move on its own. It was immediately hit by one of the sword light. With a poochy sound, blood splattered everywhere. Its entire body was cut in half. The cut was smooth. Its corpse fell to the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust. "It's over." The eyes of the leopard demon turned green. It wanted to stop, but its speed was too fast. It was almost at the peak of its life. At this speed, even if it wanted to stop, it would rush forward due to inertia. Dong! More than a dozen sword radiances attacked. They were terrifyingly sharp, and with a few poochy sounds, its body was cut into more than a dozen pieces. It was as if it had been cut into minced meat by a butcher. It didn't even have the chance to cry out before dying just like that. Damn it! The demon bird in the sky saw that the wolf demon and leopard demon were killed in an instant. Its eyes turned green. It was so scared that it flapped its wings and dodged crazily, trying to avoid the attack of the sword light. It tried to move with all its might, but it was still cut by a sword light. In an instant, half of its wing was cut off. A large amount of blood sprayed out, and it screamed in pain. Having lost one wing, it lost its balance. Its entire body fell to the ground. Too strong. The crow of misfortune and the other demons were dumbfounded. This kind of sword light was ridiculously strong. If they were hit, they wouldn't be able to dodge it. They would be cut in half in an instant. At the same time, they still had lingering fears. If Xia Ping hadn't stopped them, they would probably have been torn into countless pieces in an instant. They wouldn't have been able to save them no matter what. Boom! After killing the 3 demons, the purple sword shone brilliantly. It shot up into the sky and disappeared in front of everyone. No one knew where it went. They couldn't stop it. Xia Ping didn't feel it was a pity. This purple sword was too strong. Even if he had it, he probably wouldn't be able to control it. It was a lethal weapon that contained incomparable ferocity. In fact, the Hell Spear was even more terrifying. If not for the fact that Xia Ping possessed the Golden Crow of Hell's bloodline and cultivated the pure yang indestructible incantation, he might not have been able to control it. Throughout the ages, countless experts had tried to control the Hell Spear, but all of them ended up in a miserable state. What a powerful weapon. It can actually attack the enemy. Unbelievable. It is said that some of the more tyrannical precious artifacts already possess spirituality. They know how to distinguish between good and evil, as well as enemies. If they are able to evolve, they might even possess intelligence, becoming like living creatures. As expected of the ancient era's Yao King's weapon, it's terrifyingly powerful. However, how do we subdue these prized artifacts? There are only 2 ways. One is to use strength to subdue others, and the other is fate. If there is no fate and no strength, then the outcome will be the same as those 3 monsters' death. The crow of misfortune and the others lamented. Subduing a prized artifact was a very dangerous matter. If they were not careful, they would be instantly killed by the prized artifact. There must be a considerable number of prized artifacts here. Keep searching, Xia Ping ordered. He believed that in this ruin, there must be many weapons left behind by the ancient demon kings. After those demon kings died in battle, they would definitely leave behind powerful prized artifacts. This had also led to this place becoming a treasure trove. Almost every time, many geniuses would come here to search for treasures. Sure enough, Xia Ping and the others continued to search this ruined city. First, they came to a remote alley and found a red horn. However, before they could even get close, the red horn immediately blew, emitting earth-shattering waves. It was like the roar of a giant dragon. The power of the sound waves condensed into a substance, like the waves of the sea, spreading in all directions. Even the earth was shaken by this power. Any living creature that dared to get close to the red horn would be shaken to death. They also found a black broadsword in a house. It was inserted into the ground, bursting out black saber chi, forming a sharp, indestructible, and full of demonic nature. Even if Xia Ping wanted to get close, it was impossible because the saber chi was too terrifying. It was estimated that even a warrior at the peak of the Grandmaster realm would be killed by it. They also found a white flag in a square. This flag was placed on the square, but it emitted a realistic illusion all the time. Xiaoping and the others went in and immediately fell into the illusion, unable to extricate themselves. If it wasn't for the timely warning from Xiaoping's infernal golden crow bloodline and the powerful soul power that quickly pulled him out, perhaps his soul would have fallen into the illusion. In addition, they also saw many prized artifacts. Some were powerful, some were strange, some disappeared very quickly, and some were impossible to get close to. Each of them was extremely powerful. However, they were all like hedgehogs. They could only look at them. If they dared to touch them, they would immediately be covered with cuts and bruises. After searching for more than an hour, they still couldn't find a single prized artifact. Damn it! The Crow of Misfortune and the other monsters were flustered and exasperated. They felt very aggrieved. They had entered a treasure mountain, but they were going to return empty-handed. How strange! Xiaoping immediately frowned. As someone with the infernal golden crow bloodline, he instinctively sensed an ominous atmosphere brewing in the sky demon graveyard. Strange? What's strange? Tu Linglong asked curiously. This was the first time she had seen this human reveal such a solemn expression. Xiaoping's eyes flickered. Isn't it said that there are many evil fiends in the sky demon graveyard? We've been here for so long. Why haven't we encountered a single one? Indeed, I'm also very puzzled about this matter. It's as though those evil fiends have disappeared. The Crow of Misfortune nodded as well. It was very sensitive to such matters. What's strange about it? Those evil fiends must have seen how powerful we are and pissed their pants in fright. How would they dare appear before us? Metal Tiger said carelessly, not caring about such a trivial matter. Rumble, at that moment, a huge tremor came from afar. The rubble on the ground rolled wildly as smoke and dust billowed. Thick black fog appeared as though a storm was sweeping over. One after another, horned, winged, pitch-black evil fiends flew over from afar. They were like a dark cloud that blotted out the sky, exuding a baleful aura. Stupid tiger, you're a King Jinx. When the Crow of Misfortune sensed this aura, his face turned green. There were so many evil fiends, hundreds and thousands of them. They were practically an army. You're the real Crow. Metal Tiger looked depressed. He didn't expect such a thing to happen. Who would have thought that so many evil fiends would suddenly appear? And in groups at that. Ding! Chapter 698. Host, please take note. A powerful demonic beast has developed killing intent towards the host. Immediately, the system's voice appeared in Xiaoping's mind, followed by a scene of a dark space. The figure of the soul-devouring beast appeared clearly in Xiaoping's mind. What? A soul-devouring beast suppressed in the sky demon graveyard has taken a fancy to my golden crow hell bloodline and dispatched an army of evil demons to hunt me down? Xiaoping sensed the information and immediately turned solemn. He instinctively sensed how terrifying the demonic beast in the scene was. It contained an aura of evil, chaos, madness, and so on. It seemed even more terrifying than the heaven-devouring demon supremacy in the Cloud Mountains. This was evil through and through. It was an existence born for slaughter. It was a beast capable of destroying the world. Reminder, the soul-devouring beast is one of the most evil demonic beast races in the world. Its existence is destruction and annihilation. It is one of the most terrifying disasters in the universe. The system's voice sounded. If a planet encounters a soul-devouring beast, it will face a calamity. All living beings on the planet will be devoured by the soul-devouring beast. Because the soul-devouring beast feeds on the souls of living beings. It likes to prey on souls, devouring their soul energy, memories, and so on to strengthen itself and increase its strength and intelligence. Therefore, all living beings are enemies of the soul-devouring beast. It must be killed quickly. What? Xiaoping's eyes flickered. Although he knew that the demonic beast in the scene was terrifying, he He never expected it to be a famous calamity in the universe. It was a beast capable of destroying the world. Fortunately, this soul-devouring beast had been sealed and could not use 99% of its power. In fact, because of the long passage of time, who knew how much of its power had decreased? Otherwise, none of the living beings in the Sky Demon Graveyard would have survived. It was said that the soul-devouring beast had extremely terrifying abilities. It could open its mouth and swallow the souls of countless living beings. There was no way to resist it. One move could wipe out an entire country. But even so, the soul-devouring beast could mobilize all the evil demons in the Sky Demon Graveyard to deal with him. It was extremely terrifying. Looks like I have to flee. Xia Ping rubbed his chin. He knew how terrifying it was to be targeted by such a monster. He probably could not do a thing to the other party with his current strength. However, the other party was sealed. Even if he could mobilize all the evil demons, it would not be easy to kill him. At this time, a group of nefarious demons flew over from afar. Look, there are humans and demons. The humans that Master ordered us to capture are also here. My luck is just too good. Quick, kill all of them. The eyes of the Fiend devils all shone with a red light. They were crazy to the extreme and didn't fear death. They attacked Xia Ping's group like a swarm of locusts, blotting out the sky. Their killing intent was boiling, and they wanted the lives of Xia Ping and the others. Courting death. A cold light flashed in Xia Ping's eyes. He immediately made his move, circulating the pure yang immortal art within his body. His earth chi revolved, and a lava-like power instantly erupted. Dong! He punched out, and a large amount of flames gushed out from his 108,000 pores, condensing into many flaming divine birds in the void, and pouncing towards these demons. These flames were condensed from the essence of the sun, and contained the energy of extreme yang. They were the greatest nemesis of the Yin, attribute evil spirits in the world. Rumble, a large number of flaming divine birds crashed into these evil spirits, carrying out a suicidal attack. In an instant, they exploded and wisps of flames wrapped around these evil spirits. Immediately, these flames burned crazily, and the demonic chi on these evil spirits was like the world's best fuel, making the flames even more vigorous. The evil spirits let out shrill screams. These flames could melt everything, and even their bones could be burned to ashes. Immediately, they were in heart-wrenching pain, and their souls were on the verge of collapsing. They were like dumplings, falling madly from the sky and turning into lumps of charcoal. At the same time, the Crow of Misfortune, the Three-Eyed Giant, the One-Horned Thunderbull, Tu Ling Long, and the other demons immediately attacked. They exerted their full strength, and like tigers entering a flock of sheep, they fought with these evil spirits. In just a few minutes, hundreds of evil spirits were killed, and their corpses piled up into a small mountain. This won't do. There are too many of these evil spirits, and I can't kill them all. The Crow of Misfortune panted heavily, and its demonic power was severely depleted. The other demons were the same. After killing so many evil spirits, they felt extremely tired. However, the number of these evil spirits was endless, and they were still increasing. Thousands, tens of thousands, even tens of thousands of them were flying over. Let's escape. Xia Ping made a prompt decision. Continuing to fight with these evil spirits would be courting death. After all, there were too many of them, and they had too few people. If they were surrounded, it would be impossible to escape even if they wanted to. Hearing this, the Crow of Misfortune and the other demons looked at each other and quickly retreated. While retreating, Xia Ping saw a lot of demons and elite students fleeing. There were the Starlight Tortoise, the Heaven-Devouring Elephant, the Green Phoenix, and other great demons. There were also elite students like Feng Qiudao, Bai Qingqing, and Lu Chao. It was obvious that they had also been attacked by the evil spirits and were quickly escaping. However, in order to smoothly escape, they were fighting while retreating. Although the Starlight Tortoise looked lazy before, It was faster than anyone else when it ran like a meteor. At the same time, it seemed to be able to control the power of the stars and condense them into giant rocks that fell from the sky. Huge rocks fell down like stars, instantly smashing dozens of evil devils to death. The huge power crushed those evil devils into meat paste. The green phoenix gave off a holy aura and was surrounded by white light. She flapped her wings and held a golden spear in her hand. This was the precious treasure, the holy light spear. Her speed was unimaginably fast, like a Cohen Pong. She left behind a series of afterimages in the air. At the same time, the holy light spear stabbed out, releasing rays of golden light. In a blink of an eye, over 100 demons were sliced into countless pieces of flesh. She was like a killing machine. No one was faster than her. The holy light spear was indestructible, and coupled with her terrifying speed, no one could stop her. The most violent was the heaven-devouring elephant. It sucked in all the air within several kilometers and then released it. It created a powerful blast of air that caused a heaven-shaking explosion. Over 100 evil devils were instantly killed and turned into a pile of meat paste. Some evil spirits tried to stop it and even sent a large number of troops to stop it. However, the heaven-devouring elephant was like a super tank. Those evil spirits were like mantises trying to stop a chariot. They were all smashed to death. Chapter 699. What powerful demons! If I capture them as pets, wouldn't I be rich? Xiaoping's eyes lit up when he saw these demons unleashing their might and slaughtering the evil demons. He felt his blood boil. Bastard human. Tu Linglong glared at Xiaoping angrily. This shameless human really had his eyes on Sister Blue Luan and the others. He actually wanted to capture them as pets. He must be dreaming. She had to warn Sister Blue Luan quickly. The Crow of Misfortune and the other demons were also speechless. At this point, he still wanted to capture the demons as pets. This guy was definitely a villain without the slightest bit of kindness. Just like that, they killed and retreated. One evil demon after another fell to the ground, leaving behind countless evil demon corpses along the way. Even if they were not afraid of death, they still felt a trace of fear after seeing so many of their companions die. Immediately, they stopped their pursuit and planned to gather more companions before wiping out this group of detestable humans and demons in one fell swoop and completely slaughtered them. Damn it, what's going on? A human elite came to the entrance of the Sky Demon Graveyard and immediately shouted with a panicked expression. Where's the entrance? Where's the entrance to the Sky Demon Graveyard? He was shocked to discover that there was originally a door here in the form of a chaotic airflow. But at this moment, the door seemed to have solidified, completely isolating it from the outside world. No matter what method they used, they could not leave this door. Immediately, many humans and demons had a drastic change in expression. If they could not leave this godforsaken place, they would have to face the endless evil demon army. When that happened, it would be normal for them to all die here. Blue Luan, heaven-devouring elephant, and the other great demons' expressions turned solemn. The development of the situation exceeded their imagination. This time, they were probably involved in a huge trouble. Over the years, they had never heard of the Sky Demon Graveyard's door suddenly closing. The door is blocked. Xiaoping's eyes flickered. Although he knew that the soul-devouring beast was very powerful, he did not expect it to block the door here. This was clearly catching a turtle in a jar. It was clearly trying to put him to death. System, how should I leave this place? Xiaoping immediately asked. The system replied, the soul-devouring beast has already grasped a portion of the restrictive power here. In fact, every evil fiend is controlled by the soul-devouring beast's power, so it closed the gates to the heavenly demon graveyard. It's very simple to solve this problem, and that is to kill. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. What do you mean? The reason why the soul-devouring beast is able to control the seals here is because it is very powerful. However, if we can kill all those evil spirits, we will be able to weaken the soul-devouring beast's power. The system said, once the soul-devouring beast's strength is weakened to a certain degree, It will no longer be able to control the tomb's restrictions. At that time, you will naturally be able to leave. How many demons do we have to kill? Xiaoping asked. The system said at least 2/3 of them. 2/3? Xiaoping's pupils constricted. He had no idea how many fiendish demons there were in the sky demon graveyard. If he wanted to kill 2/3 of the fiendish demons, he might not be able to kill them all by himself. Looks like I'll need some help. Thinking of this, he walked in front of the demons and humans and directly said that there was a terrifying demonic beast suppressed here. It controlled the demons here, and if they wanted to leave, they would have to kill 2/3 of the demons here. How do you know about this? A demon asked in puzzlement, his eyes flickering. So many of them did not know, but this kid did. It was too strange. After all, the Sky Demon Graveyard was once the territory of the demon race, and there were many secrets left behind. Don't tell me you were the one who caused this, kid. A human elite looked at Xiaoping suspiciously. This bastard caused trouble everywhere and had never done anything good. He was simply a jinx. No matter where he went, he would cause a lot of trouble. Xiaoping felt a little guilty. This matter was indeed caused by him. If not for his infernal Golden Crow bloodline, which attracted the attention of the soul-devouring beast, such a thing probably would not have happened. However, he would never say such a thing even if he was beaten to death. Otherwise, he would definitely be beaten up by the angry crowd. Xiaoping said boldly, I know about this matter, but you don't need to know. In short, it's up to you whether you believe me or not. I'm not interested in explaining this to you. With that said, he left with the Crow of Misfortune and the other demons without explaining at all. In any case, even if these people did not believe him, they would fight back against the evil demons. Therefore, he did not care whether these demons believed him or not. In short, saying this matter was to give them some motivation to kill the evil demons so that they would not be afraid and hide everywhere. This bastard human, a demon, was furious. What kind of attitude is this? We are clearly on the same boat, but he is still so arrogant. He simply has no eyes for demons. This bastard human has such a personality. Another demon's eyes flickered. What I'm concerned about is whether what he said is true or not. Is there any conspiracy? It was suspecting if Xiaoping had arranged some trap for them to jump into. Whether it's true or not, we can't go out for now. There are evil demons chasing us in front. We have to leave. If we are surrounded by those evil demons, we will all die, Green Luan said indifferently. Her sixth sense told her that this human was not lying. However, she felt that something was amiss, as if this human was hiding some crucial information. That's true. We can't stay here any longer. If we are wiped out by those evil demons, we will be completely doomed. We should hurry and go deeper into the city. Starlight Tortoise nodded in agreement. Fortunately, this ruined city was huge. There were buildings everywhere, and there were many places to hide. Entering the city was like a drop of water entering the ocean. If they relied on the buildings here to defend, it would not be easy for those evil demons to surround them. Let's go, the heaven-devouring elephant said. The surrounding demons nodded. Since the few great demons here had said so, they had no objections. After all, they had no other choice but to temporarily hide. Let's go too. That's right. Let's go deep into the city. Fight those evil demons in the streets and slowly grind them to death. The eyes of Feng Qiudao and the rest flickered. They also weighed the pros and cons. They felt that staying here had more disadvantages than advantages. They also left and entered the ruined city. Even though they felt that this bastard Xiaoping was not reliable at all and could not even trust a punctuation mark, they did not have any more information. They could only hope that this guy did not trick them. Chapter 700. A few days later, in the Sky Demon Graveyard, there were fierce battles everywhere. Almost all the evil demons were in action, fighting to the death with the demons and humans who entered the graveyard. There were countless casualties, especially Xiaoping, Crow of Misfortune, and other demons. They were the focus of the evil demons and were targeted by the soul-devouring beast. Therefore, a large number of evil demons surrounded Xiaoping and others. Basically, when they saw them appear, they would come in groups to kill them. No matter how many evil demons died, they did not retreat. At this time, Xiaoping and others hid in a remote house, temporarily avoiding the pursuit of the evil demons. They used it as a temporary resting place. They were all slumped on the ground, gasping for breath. Crow of Misfortune's wing was injured, almost cut off. Blood flowed on the ground. It lay on the ground, unable to move, unable to fly for a short time. More than a dozen bones in Metal Tiger's body were broken. He gasped for breath, and his physical strength was basically exhausted. Tu Linglong also had a lot of blood on her body. Her face was pale, and her clothes were dyed red. Three-Eyed Giant, One-Horned Thunderbull, Widow Spider, Blackwater Explosive Bear, and other demons were not much better. They were more or less seriously injured, lying in the corner of the house to rest. Xiaoping did not suffer so much. He relied on Dark North Body Protection technique and rampaged. Those evil demons could not hurt his body at all. Instead, many of them were killed. But even so, several days of killing still made him feel mentally exhausted. Damn it, what's going on? Why do we seem to be the focus of those evil demons, and they always come to trouble us in groups? Three-Eyed Giant looked depressed. Compared with other demons, they were obviously taken care of more. Almost as soon as they appeared, they attacked crazily. Several times, if it weren't for their strength and the abnormal Xiaoping in this place, they would probably be killed by those evil demons and become their food. Yes, I also find it very strange. Those evil demons seem to be specifically looking for our whereabouts. Although other demons and humans will also chase us, the intensity is obviously reduced. Crow of Misfortune also paid attention to this problem. It felt that the purpose of those evil demons was not simple, but it was not clear what the purpose was. Metal Tiger and other demons nodded. They also felt extremely puzzled. Do you still need to ask? It must be because you have the blood of a demon king flowing in your veins. For those demons, this is simply a great supplement. It's 1,000-year-old medicine that can move. If they don't come looking for trouble with you, who else would they look for trouble with? Xiaoping felt very guilty, but he still spoke with a face full of righteousness. Furthermore, it's very likely that your ancestor was the culprit behind the seal of that magical beast. Now that that magical beast knows of your existence, it will definitely go crazy and risk its life to hunt you down and take revenge. At this point, he suddenly stopped talking. The faces of the Crows of Misfortune and the other demons turned extremely ugly because they admitted that it was very possible. After all, the one who sealed the demonic beast was the ancestor of the demon race. If that demonic beast hated the demon clan, they would definitely be retaliated against. There was no doubt about it. If he put himself in their shoes, they would probably do the same. Say it. Why don't you say it? Tu Linglong looked at Xiaoping with a dangerous expression. Xiaoping rolled his eyes and said, "By the way, I suddenly remembered something very important. I may need to leave for a while." He wanted to turn around and leave. Big brother, what important thing is it that requires you to leave in such a hurry? The Crows of Misfortune immediately blocked in front of Xiaoping with a fake smile. The Three-Eyed Giant, Metal Tiger, One-Horned Thunderbull, Tu Linglong, and the other demons bared their teeth. They could all see that this shameless human definitely wanted to abandon them and run away. Wasn't that right? The reason why they were besieged by so many demons was because of their identity as demons. To put it simply, they were super light bulbs, the kind that specialized in attracting demons. If they continued to stay by their side, they would definitely be implicated. This shameless human probably also thought of this, so he suddenly stopped talking and wanted to retreat. It's nothing important. I just want to go outside and scout the enemy situation to see if there are any demons approaching. Xiaoping expressed that he wanted to be a scout and scout the enemy situation. There's no need for that, big brother. Just leave a small matter like scouting the enemy situation to me, corpse-devouring vulture. There's no need for big brother to go personally. Corpse-devouring vulture immediately stood up and volunteered. Why bother? Corpse-devouring vulture, you've also suffered quite a lot of injuries. You should stay in your room and rest. Big brother didn't contribute much before, so this is a good time to make up for it. Xiaoping's expression was stern and righteous. Make up for my ass. Tu Linglong looked at this shameless human with disdain. It was obvious that he wanted to use the excuse of scouting the enemy situation to escape and abandon them, who were a burden to attract demons. Now, he was even pretending to make up for it. Why didn't he want to make up for it before? Why did he want to make up for it now? Did he really think that they were stupid and would be easily deceived by this human? Big brother, we're in danger now. We should help each other. The three-eyed giant used his huge body to block the door of the room. The one-horned thunderbolt stood by the window of the room. The spider widow, metal tiger, black water explosive bear, and the other demons immediately moved and blocked all the exits of the room. It was obvious that they did not want to let Xia Ping leave. Why do you guys have to do this? It's better for one person to live than to be wiped out. Xia Ping looked up to the sky and sighed. Don't worry. When I leave the sky demon battlefield alive, I'll burn yellow paper and give you roasted chickens every year. I'll inherit your will and create a harmonious society where humans and demons coexist. Inherit my ass. The crow of misfortune and the other demons were half dead from anger. This shameless human really thought that they were dead. They even wanted to burn yellow paper for them and worship them. They were still alive. Big brother, we're your loyal subordinates. Furthermore, you planted fireball bombs on us. Are you going to abandon us just like that? The crow of misfortune bared its teeth. It knew very well that they were all defeated soldiers now. If Xia Ping escaped, they would be dead for sure. They could not let this human abandon them, even if they were beaten to death. Previously, they wanted to leave Xia Ping's side, but now they did not want Xia Ping to leave even if they were beaten to death. It's not abandonment, but a strategic retreat to preserve our strength and make a comeback. This is a strategy. Xia Ping looked righteous. Make a comeback. Chapter 701. All right, let's cut the chatter. If there's anything else, we'll talk about it later, Xia Ping said carelessly, indicating that he had things to do and didn't want to stay here any longer. Don't even think about running away. With a whoosh, Tu Linglong pounced on Xia Ping at an extremely fast speed. She hung on to him like a koala bear and hugged him tightly. She wouldn't let this bastard go no matter what. She bared her fangs and brandished her claws with a resolute expression. Tu Linglong, don't go too far. You should be happy that I'm letting you go now. Why are you stopping me one by one? Xia Ping shouted. He bared his teeth because Tu Linglong's figure was simply too good. She was like a devil clinging tightly to his body. He immediately felt what it meant to be exquisite and voluptuous, what it meant to be in natural beauty, and what it meant to be able to bring calamity to a nation. If there weren't so many monsters watching, he probably wouldn't be able to hold it in and turn into a wolf. Let us go. Tu Linglong looked at Xia Ping with disdain. You're clearly greedy for life and afraid of death. You want to abandon us. Why are you humans so despicable and shameless? Don't you have any guts? She grabbed Xia Ping tightly with both hands and exerted all her strength. She wouldn't let go no matter what. Let go. If you continue like this, I'm going to flip out. Don't think you can do whatever you want here, just because you have a good figure and beautiful face, understand? Xia Ping warned. Tu Linglong snorted. Flip out if you have the guts. Oh right, didn't you plant a fireball bomb on me? Detonate it for me now. Since I'm going to die in the hands of those demons anyway, I might as well drag someone down with me. I'm going to die with you. She had a resolute expression and was already mentally prepared. She had been taken advantage of by this shameless man so many times. This time, she would take revenge no matter what. She wouldn't let him off even if she became a ghost. If they all died in the hands of those demons while this scourge of humans was still alive and kicking, she would probably crawl back in anger even if she stayed in hell. That's right. Big brother, don't even think about running. Either you detonate the bomb now and we all die together, or you stay and help each other out. You want to escape alone and abandon us to live? Dream on. The crows of misfortune and the other monsters surrounded Xia Ping with a firm attitude. If Xia Ping wanted to escape, they would immediately rush forward and grab him by his limbs. In any case, if this fellow detonated the bombs in their bodies, this fellow would definitely be killed. All right. Xia Ping rolled his eyes, spread his hands, and said, Since you've said so, then fine. I'll stay and fight against those demons. Hearing this, Tu Linglong and the other demons immediately heaved a sigh of relief. As long as this human didn't sneak away, it would be fine. In short, no matter what, they had to keep this human together. Otherwise, if they were besieged by a large number of demons, it would bode ill for them. However, for some reason, they felt a little strange in their hearts. They kept feeling as if something was wrong with them, as if they had been ruthlessly tricked by this human. However, they couldn't tell what exactly was wrong. But we can't go on like this. If those evil spirits don't all die, I'm afraid we'll die. The Crow of Misfortune said solemnly. It felt that the situation was extremely serious. Those demons were not afraid of death. It didn't matter how many of them died, but they couldn't. If this continued, their injuries would be very serious, and when that time came, there would be no hope. It doesn't matter. I've already thought of a way to wipe out all those demons in one fell swoop, Xiaoping said confidently. What? Upon hearing this, the Crow of Misfortune and the other demons were shocked. They didn't expect Xiaoping to say such a thing. He even had a way to deal with those evil spirits. What is it? Tu Linglong immediately asked. Xiaoping smiled faintly and immediately took out an item. Holy sh*T, isn't this the miniature nuclear bomb of humans? Why did you bring this thing in? The three-eyed giant's eyes immediately turned green. It was so frightened that its heart trembled. Back in the war between humans and demons, the demons had numerous numbers and experts, but they were still at a disadvantage because of the existence of nuclear bombs. Those nuclear bombs that humans manufactured in batches killed countless demons. Apart from monarchs, no demon could withstand them. Even monarchs had to pay a huge price to withstand them. Therefore, it was impossible for them not to know about the technological weapons of humans. Some necessary preparations, Xiaoping said with a smile. He had made a lot of preparations for entering the Sky Demon battlefield. First, he had purchased many miniature nuclear bombs from the giant corporation. As he had special privileges, no one stopped him. Just one miniature nuclear bomb can't change the situation at all. That's nothing. The Crow of Misfortune also calmed down. As Xiaoping was not an enemy, it wasn't worried that Xiaoping would detonate the nuclear bomb. Of course, one won't change anything, but what if I have 1,000? Xiaoping smiled. In order to ensure that nothing went wrong in this operation, he had purchased 1,000 of them. A miniature nuclear bomb was worth 10 million federal coins, so 1,000 of them were only worth 10 billion federal coins. To him, it was simply a drop in the bucket. Upon hearing this, the Crow of Misfortune went crazy. 1,000? Are you crazy? Why do you have so many? Are you trying to start a war? Or are you trying to kill all of us demons? It was scared half to death. If it was just a miniature nuclear bomb, it wouldn't be much. Grandmaster-level demons were extremely fast and could completely avoid the power of such a bomb. As long as they weren't at the center of the explosion, they wouldn't die. However, if 1,000 miniature nuclear bombs were to detonate, the power would be earth-shattering. Even monarchs would be doomed if they were at the center of the explosion. The three-eyed giant and the other demons were dumbfounded and couldn't believe their ears. How did you bring so many miniature nuclear bombs in? Tu Linglong was extremely curious. Generally speaking, elite human students wouldn't bring such weapons in. First of all, it was a military item, and it was very difficult for ordinary people to obtain it. Second, even if they brought it in, it wouldn't be of much use. 1 or 2 miniature nuclear bombs wouldn't change the situation at all, unless hundreds of them were brought in. Only then would they be a huge threat. However, the weight of a miniature nuclear bomb wasn't small either. Thousands of such bombs would probably crush even those with natural divine strength. They would be like tortoises that couldn't run at all. Therefore, elite students didn't want to bring such things in at all. It was simply a burden. Only a super nouveau riche like Xiaoping, who had a spatial ring, could do such a luxurious thing. That's a secret. Xiaoping wasn't interested in explaining such things at all. The most important thing was to maintain a sense of mystery. This would greatly deter the other party and prevent these demons from having any disloyal thoughts. Chapter 702. Tu Linglong and the other demons racked their brains, but could not figure out how Xiaoping had brought these miniature nuclear bombs in. This was because they had never seen a treasure like an interspatial ring before. Even though they were extremely curious, there was nothing they could do if Xia Ping didn't say. All they could do was be filled with puzzlement. At the same time, they felt immense reverence for this human. The three-eyed giant and the other demons felt a chill run down their spines. Thankfully, they did not plan on gathering demons to attack the human. Otherwise, the human would have taken out over 1,000 miniature nuclear bombs. Most of the demon race prodigies who entered the Sky Demon battlefield would probably die. I want to set up a trap, Xia Ping said directly. Attract most of the fiends over and use these nuclear bombs to blast them into the sky. We will wipe them out once and for all. He revealed his plan. What do you want us to do? The three-eyed giant and the other demons looked at Xia Ping. If he really had over 1,000 miniature nuclear bombs, there was no need to detonate them all. Just a portion of them would be enough to blast the fiends to death. They felt that this plan was extremely feasible. Very simple. I'll let you be bait. Xia Ping told them the plan he had already prepared. You guys split up and spread out, then lead those demons to the designated location. Then, when all the fiends are gathered, detonate them immediately and kill them all. The plan was simple, but it was very effective. Once it succeeded, the fiends would die and they would be safe. The problem was that being bait was extremely dangerous. Sometimes, they would be killed by the fiends before they could attract them. It could be said that there was a high chance of survival. Let's do it. However, the Crow of Misfortune and the other demons did not hesitate and immediately agreed to Xia Ping's plan. The reason was simple. Even if they hid now, they would die sooner or later. It was better to follow this plan and fight to the death to kill all the fiends. Only then would there be a chance of survival. Very good. Xia Ping was very satisfied. He had done so many things in hopes that they would be willing to be bait. Now, he had finally succeeded. It was not that simple for the soul-devouring beast to kill him. At the very least, he had to knock out one of its teeth. First, he had to pluck out its claws and wipe out all the fiends. He wanted to see what other abilities that fellow had. If they could exterminate those evil spirits, they would definitely be able to heavily injure the soul-devouring beast. After all, it had already expended a tremendous amount of energy to extend most of its power. If all this power disappeared, he would probably fly into a rage and suffer serious injuries. Several days later, the Crows of Misfortune and the others didn't go anywhere. They just stayed in this remote room and quietly rested. Their injuries had finally recovered. Xia Ping also took advantage of these 3 days to consolidate and digest the energy within his body. So far, he had already broken through 8 meridians, and the power of his quintessential essence was much stronger than before. He only needed to break through 4 more meridians, and he would be able to reach the Zhongshe realm. However, after cultivating for so long, the water moon grass and the demonic cores that he had previously collected were all used up. Fortunately, he had obtained a lot of spiritual liquid, so even if he did not have these things, it would not matter. Let's go. Follow the plan. Xia Ping stood up. The Crow of Misfortune and the other demons nodded and immediately took action. At this time, in a corner of the ruined city, countless nefarious demons were gathered together. Damn it! Where is that human Xia Ping hiding? Why can't I find him anywhere? A nefarious demon was very annoyed. It had been so long, but they couldn't even catch a shadow of that human. However, they couldn't be blamed. The area of the ruined city was too big. Hiding in a corner was like a drop of water merging into the sea. Even if they had a large number of people, it was extremely difficult to find a person in a short period of time. He's not very capable, but his hiding ability is first class. The so-called human is similar to a mouse. They are all gutless things. Another nefarious demon gritted its teeth and cursed. Now Master is very angry. He said that if we can't catch that human, he will destroy us. Everyone, what should we do? A nefarious demon leader was extremely terrified. It knew the temper of the soul-devouring beast very well. Once it was angry, who knew how many nefarious demons would die? Even it might not be able to escape. The other nefarious demons were also extremely terrified, trembling. Why do we not capture other demons? We should concentrate our forces. Once we find that human, we will set up an inescapable net. That way, he won't be able to escape, and we will be able to catch a turtle in a jar. A nefarious demon suggested. Many nefarious demons nodded. It was precisely because they were scattered to kill other demons that their strength to capture Xiaoping weakened. If they could concentrate their forces, their chances of success would increase greatly. Indeed, to master, those demons and humans are just snacks. The human Xiaoping is his main food. Capturing him is the most important thing. Some nefarious demons agreed. Reporting. Suddenly, a nefarious demon flew over from the sky. Its expression was extremely excited. Lord Leader, we found the human Xiaoping in a corner. What? They actually found the human Xiaoping. The nefarious demon leader immediately shouted excitedly. Well done. Let's go and capture him immediately. It really was effortless to travel to the ends of the world. Previously, they said that there was no movement, but now he appeared. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Instantly, tens of thousands of nefarious demons moved out. They covered the sky and flew in midair like dark clouds. In an instant, they arrived at the corner. They also saw the corner where Xiaoping appeared. One by one, nefarious demons descended and surrounded Xiaoping. It was as if tens of thousands of fierce tigers were staring at a sheep, filled with killing intent. Ha, run. Continue running. Damned human. Aren't you very good at running? The nefarious demon leader's expression was ferocious, full of anger. For the past few days, it had been extremely irritated by Xiaoping and the other bastards. It had been hiding here and there, fooling them. Now, it had finally caught one of its companions. It was as if the heavens were helping it. Run my ass. Xiaoping appeared in front of these nefarious demons openly and said disdainfully, I'm tired of playing games with you fools these past few days. I can't be bothered to continue playing with you fools. Tell your boss to come out. I'll kill in minutes. He shouted at the group of nefarious demons. At this moment, it was as if he was not a sheep being surrounded, but a fierce tiger being surrounded. What? Chapter 703. One had to know what kind of person their boss was. He was the calamity of the universe, a tyrannical monster that had once destroyed the demon race. Even though the demon race had paid a huge price and suffered countless casualties, they still hadn't been able to kill him. They could only suppress him here and slowly grind him to death with the passage of time. This human actually dared to boast in front of such a powerful figure, saying that he could kill his boss in minutes. This human was simply too daring. The evil spirits present looked at Xiaoping with incomparable pity, as if they were looking at a madman. Foolish human, you dare to provoke Master? Go, capture this foolish human and tear him to pieces. No, Master wants to capture him alive. Break his legs, and let's see where he can run to. The group of evil spirits all had ferocious expressions, surging with murderous intent. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, they didn't waste any time talking to Xiaoping and directly attacked. Dozens of evil spirits flapped their wings like demonic birds and pounced over with extreme speed. If a human didn't react fast enough, he would instantly be pierced by the steel forks in their hands and turned into barbecued skewers. Foolish. Xiaoping was already prepared. He grabbed with his large hand, and flames immediately appeared on his body, condensing into fireballs and smashing toward these evil spirits. Bang, bang, bang. Instantly, these evil spirits were caught off guard and were hit by the fireballs, exploding instantly. Huge flames surrounded the evil spirits' bodies and started burning fiercely. They let out shrill cries because the sun essence was their nemesis. Demonic energy was simply the best fuel. Once it was ignited, there was no way to extinguish it. In a few breaths' time, dozens of evil spirits were burned to ashes. You want to kill me with just this bit of ability? Simply a lunatic's ravings. Xiaoping said disdainfully. Why don't you call that stupid, soul-devouring beast out? I can beat it with both hands and legs. He didn't care about these evil spirits at all. Arrogant human, did you eat a bear's heart or a leopard's gall? There's no need for Master to come out to deal with a puny human. Die, die. Many of the nefarious devils roared in anger. Immediately, hundreds of nefarious devils pounced over in a frenzy. They did not fear death at all. They did not care about the lives of their companions at all. In fact, they did not even care about their own lives. Foolish human, I have over 10,000 evil devils here. Let's see how long you can keep killing. The evil devil leader sneered and ordered the cannon fodder to charge forward. It did not believe that this human's stamina was limitless. Once his stamina was exhausted, it would be time to capture this human alive. How long are we going to kill them? Of course, I'll kill all of you until you're all dead. A cold light flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. With a thought, the fireball bombs scattered around him immediately flew out. This was a trap that he had set up beforehand, waiting for the group of demons to rush over stupidly. Rumble. Immediately, hundreds of fireball bombs exploded with earth-shattering power. In an instant, a deep pit with a diameter of hundreds of meters was created, and soil was splattered everywhere. But to these evil spirits, the most frightening thing was the flames that were flying everywhere. When these flames hit their bodies, it was like gasoline coming into contact with flames. Immediately, a raging fire broke out, burning their entire bodies and turning them into skewers. Ah! Countless evil spirits screamed miserably like pigs being slaughtered. Facing such flames, their resistance was extremely weak, and they were all burnt into charcoal. Hundreds of evil spirits died in a few breaths' time. Such an efficiency of killing caused even the valiant and fearless evil spirits to feel a chill down their spines. You want to kill me by relying on your numbers? You must be dreaming. From now on, I will kill thousands of evil spirits every day. I don't believe that your numbers are endless. Xiaoping sneered, his killing intent like steel. Hearing those words, the hearts of the many nefarious demons turned cold. If this human were to kill over 1,000 of them every day, it would not take long before all of them would be wiped out. After all, no matter how many of them there were, they could not withstand such a massacre. You want to kill thousands of evil spirits every day? You are the one who is dreaming. Today you will die. The evil devil leader roared angrily. He could also feel the threat of this human. If he did not get rid of this human as soon as possible, he was afraid that the evil spirits would face annihilation. Immediately, thousands of evil spirits flew up, covering the sky like a dark cloud. The surrounding air was filled with an astonishing killing intent, causing one's heart to tremble. I'm not playing with you anymore. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows and instantly detonated the remaining fireball bombs on the ground. With a loud boom, a shocking explosion immediately occurred within a 1-kilometer radius. The powerful shock wave swept through the surroundings, sending many evil spirits flying. Large amounts of thick smoke rose and swept through the surroundings, completely surrounding the entire area. Whoosh! Taking advantage of the thick smoke around him, Xiaoping instantly burrowed into the space ring and disappeared. When the thick smoke dissipated, the surrounding evil spirits were shocked to find that the human, Xiaoping, had long disappeared. How was this possible? One of the evil spirits was stunned. How did that human escape? I did not sense any movement from him at all. It tried its best to sense, but there was no trace of Xiaoping within a 10-kilometer radius. It was as if he had instantly disappeared from this world, without a trace. It was not only this evil spirit. The thousands of evil spirits present were also searching at the same time, but they could not find him. They did not expect Xiaoping to have a spatial ring on him, and even a treasure that could store living things. What's going on? How can this human's speed be so fast? He escaped from our tracking in an instant? One of the evil spirits was very shocked. To be able to teleport 10 kilometers in a second, this had already surpassed the Grandmaster level. Only an invincible monarch could do this. The problem was if this human was a monarch, then he could kill them all with his bare hands. There was no need for him to escape at all. Impossible. Even if he had wings, he would not be able to run so fast. He must have used a trick to hide silently. He must still be nearby. Tried to escape after showing off. Dream on. Search every inch of the ground within a 10-kilometer radius. Check every brick and tile. I don't believe this human has really become a spirit. Many evil spirits were furious. That human had killed so many of their companions, and they were surrounded by thousands of evil spirits, but Xia Ping still managed to escape. This was simply a great humiliation. They were used to being domineering in the celestial demon battlefield, killing people and demons on sight. They had never encountered such grievances before. Chapter 704. At that moment, in a corner of the sky, Fey graveyard. Die, evil demons. You shouldn't exist in this world. The one-horned thunderbolt suddenly appeared in front of a group of nefarious demons. Without saying a word, it attacked them. Bang, bang, bang. Immediately, bolts of lightning shot out from its horn, creating clouds and rain. Countless bolts of lightning smashed into the bodies of these evil devils, charring them black. Damned demons. The evil demons that were searching for Xia Pingxing were instantly stunned. They never expected that the demons that only knew how to hide would dare to take the initiative to attack. However, they were also battle-hardened experts and quickly reacted. They were immediately enraged and murderous, eager to kill the bull. They charged at the horned thunderbolt. Run! After unleashing a barrage of lightning, the horned thunderbolt had no intention of tangling with the evil demons. It frantically waved its hooves, making loud, clattering sounds as it fled into the distance, as though it did not care for its life. Because its goal was not to kill or injure the evil demons, but to infuriate them. In a remote alley. Foolish evil demons, your brains are stuffed with shit. Even pigs are smarter than you. The three-eyed giant laughed out loud and waved the cudgel in its hand. It launched sneak attacks at the evil demons, smashing their heads into meat paste with each hit. It was simply like a supervillain, wantonly taunting the group of demons. Come on, catch me if you have the guts. I like to see you angry, but unable to do anything to me. After killing dozens of evil demons, the three-eyed giant took huge strides and fled in a wretched manner. Kill it. Kill that foolish giant. It still dares to hoot. Destroy it. I want F** King destroy it right now. The evil demons were infuriated. After killing so many of their companions with a sneak attack, it still dared to taunt them. They could not tolerate it and chased after it in a frenzy. In another alley, whoosh, whoosh, Tu Linglong appeared in this place, and she instantly attacked. Countless leg shadows appeared in midair as she kicked out. It was like an all-out attack from a primordial mammoth. The demons that were kicked screamed miserably as they were smashed into meat paste in midair. Large amounts of flesh and blood fell to the ground, dyeing the ground red. Demon, you won't be able to stay arrogant for long. Very soon, we will exterminate you all. It's best if you surrender quickly and become our slaves. Otherwise, you won't even be able to do anything. Tu Linglong followed Xia Ping's words and persuaded the group of fiends to surrender. Get lost, little girl. You still want to persuade us to surrender? You're simply blinded by lard. Kill this bitch. Countless evil devils were enraged and chased after her. However, Tu Linglong's speed was too fast. With a light leap, she simply treated the air as if it were land, forming an air barrier that allowed her to instantly leave. Even if those demons had wings, they would not be able to catch up. Other than the frog, the crows of misfortune, metal tigers, widow spiders, and other demons were also provoking the group of demons. A few days later, the nefarious fiends of the sky demon graveyard were all filled with anger. Their internal organs were all on fire, but they had no way to vent their anger, making them even angrier. Damn it, a fiend gnashed its teeth. What method does that human, Xia Ping, use to evade our pursuit? Why is he able to escape without a trace every time we are about to surround him? It was extremely puzzled. Every time a large group surrounded Xia Ping, they would surround him so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Yet they just could not catch this slippery loach. That bastard human would always kill off hundreds of their companions before escaping without a trace. He was extremely calm. In just a few days, they had suffered more than 10,000 casualties. That human is nothing. The most abominable ones are those lackeys. They are simply too arrogant. They have repeatedly provoked us and killed many of us, said another fiend angrily. In the past few days, not only did the human Xiaoping go around provoking them, but even those lackeys did the same. They actually openly came before them and provoked them. Originally, they did not want to bother with such low-level provocations, but after being assassinated several times by those lackeys, even Buddha would be infuriated if he were alive. Immediately, many fiends led a large group to search for the crow of misfortune and the other demons. They swore to skin those bastards and pull out their tendons. Only then would they be able to vent their anger. Didn't they say that demons and humans are incompatible like fire and water and would never interact in this lifetime? Why did those demons become the lackeys of humans? They seem to have even fallen in love with them. Some fiends did not understand. They had seen many humans and demons, but they were all clearly separated. Sometimes they would even fight and kill each other. They definitely did not collude with each other and collude with each other. However, that Xiaoping had subdued those few demons and was willing to work for him. There's so many demons. What's so strange about a few scum appearing? Lowly demons, they don't have any bones at all. They actually became dogs for humans. This is simply preposterous. Of all the things they could do, they actually went to be demons. They deserve to be killed. Many fiends gritted their teeth in anger. They simply wished that they could immediately grab the crow of misfortune and the other lackeys and tear them into pieces. However, those demons were also slippery. When they saw that the situation was not good, they all fled quickly. Leader, we can't go on like this. Master is furious now. He said that if we don't capture the human Xiaoping, he will flip out. A fiend trembled. Many fiends trembled as well. They absolutely did not wish to see the soul-devouring beast's wrath. Don't worry, that human definitely can't escape. The fiend leader sneered. I've already laid down an inescapable net and surrounded that human. No matter how crafty he is, he won't be able to escape this encirclement. He's dead for sure. What do you mean? Many fiends were very curious. The fiend leader indicated that he had already mobilized 80% of the fiends in the Heaven Demon Graveyard. Hundreds of thousands of troops had formed a huge encirclement around where Xiaoping had appeared. Then, the fiend army's defensive line would constantly shrink. When the time came, the human would not be able to escape no matter how he struggled. Brilliant. Truly brilliant. This is like catching a turtle in a jar. A fiend was enlightened. Although that human is jumping around very fiercely now, he has long fallen into our trap. He has fallen into an inescapable net. As long as our army constantly compress his living space, he will definitely have no place to hide. Many fiends revealed looks of delight. They seemed to see the human Xiaoping struggling no matter how much he struggled. He would constantly kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. That's great. Leader, when we capture the human Xiaoping alive, I'll definitely torture him ruthlessly. Otherwise, our dead companions will not be able to rest in peace. Yes, and that humans lackey demons. They have to die too. Those lackeys are the most detestable. They are even more detestable than Xiaoping. They are like flies that can't be killed, but they often harass you. They have killed more fiends than Xiaoping. Capture those demon lackeys. I want to tear them to pieces and torture them until they wish they were dead. Chapter 705. A day later. On the main street of the ruined city, Xiaoping used the Kuan-Peng steps to move quickly. Behind him were thousands of evil demons, chasing him relentlessly. In fact, if someone were to look down from the sky, with Xiaoping as the center within a radius of a dozen miles, countless evil demons were swarming over, forming a huge encirclement. Under such circumstances, no one would be able to escape even if they had wings. Aren't you afraid of death? How dare you chase after me? Do you know how many evil demons have died in the past few days? Xiaoping shouted as he ran, trying to scare the group of evil demons. What's there to be afraid of? None of us evil demons are afraid of death. You will definitely die today. Let's see where else you can run to. We've already set up an inescapable net. You won't be able to escape even if you have wings. The group of evil demons sneered. They looked at Xiaoping in disdain. They weren't shaken by Xiaoping's threat at all. Instead, they were extremely excited. This kid finally knew what fear was. Previously, this human was extremely arrogant and would launch sneak attacks at random. God knows how many of their companions were killed by this human's flames. Many evil demons were burned to death by this human's flames. But now, they had set up an inescapable net. No matter where this human ran to, he would be surrounded by a large number of evil demons. There was nowhere for him to run. To be honest, we can actually be friends. No matter how big the conflict is, we can discuss and solve it. Why don't we coexist peacefully? Why must both sides suffer? Xiaoping gave a suggestion. After running for a while, he revealed a panting look as if he would run out of energy very soon. Keep my ass. The group of evil demons looked at Xiaoping in disdain. You didn't say that when you killed countless of their companions. You even boasted that you could slaughter dozens of evil demons and be invincible. You even asked their boss to come out and die. You were so arrogant. Now that he knew that he was surrounded and his life was under great threat, he started to want to be friends with evil demons and discuss a solution. Unless their brains were filled with water, they wouldn't care about this human's stupid request. Today, they had to capture this human alive and torture him until he didn't look like a human anymore. Human, you're right. We can actually be friends. If you think about it carefully, your words are very reasonable. I agree with you very much. Yeah, why don't you stop now, and we can have a meeting together? A few demons shouted loudly. They hoped that Xiaoping would stop and have a meeting with them to discuss how to solve this matter and find a way to coexist peacefully. However, more of the evil spirits were sneering. This was a ruse. If this human dared to stop, they would immediately attack and capture him alive. They would completely break his limbs so that he would no longer have the strength to escape. If you want to have a meeting, that's fine. Why don't you make the demon army retreat, and we'll find another place to hold a meeting. I think this is beneficial to both parties. Xiaoping wanted this group of demons to retreat. Bullshit. Many of the nefarious devils looked at Xiaoping with disdain. Did this brat think that he could make them retreat with just a few words? They must be crazy to do such a stupid thing. However, they were extremely pleased. This human was definitely at his wits' end to say such words. Previously, this brat had been extremely arrogant, boasting that he would kill thousands of evil spirits every day and that he would soon wipe out all the evil spirits in the sky demon graveyard. This scared them a little, but such an arrogant human had disappeared, and he even wanted to have a peace talk with them. If this human had not been forced into a corner by them, why would he say such words? Dream on, human. If you want our evil spirit army to retreat, you must first put down your weapons and surrender. Only if you kneel and surrender will there be a negotiation. If you resist stubbornly, you're dead. The group of evil spirits said smugly. They looked at Xiaoping with disdain and mockery, as if they were looking at a defeated opponent. They had spent so much effort, mobilizing 80% of the entire Sky Demon Graveyard's combat power, conducting a large-scale search, and digging 3 feet into the ground. Wasn't this scene just to see? And now, they finally saw this damned human's panicked expression. At this moment, Xiaoping seemed to be in a panic and ran into a square. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, in the sky, north, south, east, and west, black clouds immediately flew over, blotting out the sky. Countless evil spirits flew over. They surrounded Xiaoping. In an instant, the entire square was surrounded so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. They all stared at Xiaoping with murderous intent, their eyes filled with mockery. Xiaoping looked at the evil spirits around him with a look of despair. He looked at the evil spirits in front of him and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. May I ask if you can give me better treatment as a captive if I surrender now? Tens of thousands of evil spirits appeared in the square, and outside the square, there was also a dense horde of evil spirits that blotted out the sky. Even a fly could forget about leaving such a tight defense. Surrender? I told you to surrender before, but you didn't. Now that you're forced into a corner, you want to surrender? It's too late. Run, damned human. You were so good at running before. Why aren't you running now? After killing so many of our companions, we've finally caught the culprit. Today, we'll kill you to avenge our fallen companions and wash away the humiliation. That's right. Where are your lackeys? Where are they? Get them to scram out immediately. I'm going to kill them and tear them into pieces as well. Countless evil spirits glared at Xia Ping fiercely, their terrifying killing intent filling the surroundings. Many of them were angered by Xia Ping, but most of them were enraged by the crows of misfortune and the other demons. They couldn't find the whereabouts of the crows of misfortune and the others, but they found Xia Ping. They believed that it would be easy for them to find those scourges through this human. They could just wipe them all out at once. For the past few days, they had been driven mad by Xia Ping and the other bastards. Now that they were filled with anger, they wanted to vent it on this human. The number of people seems to be almost gathered. Xia Ping looked at the evil spirits around him and smiled. What he had been planning for a long time had finally come true. Damn it, this human seems to be up to no good. Could it be that he wants to do something bad? In the distance, when the leader of the evil spirits saw Xia Ping smile, it felt a strong sense of unease. However, it couldn't understand why it felt uneasy. Do you think that you can do whatever you want of me just because you've surrounded me? You're dreaming. Xia Ping sneered. You're scheming against me, but I'm also scheming against you. You still want me to die? Today, the ones who will die will be you. Chapter 706. Oh no, I've been tricked. All of a sudden, the leader of the evil demon's sixth sense warned it that it had to leave. Otherwise, it would definitely die. However, it was too late to escape now. Even if it had wings, it wouldn't be able to fly away. As soon as he finished speaking, Xia Ping immediately detonated the hundreds of miniature nuclear bombs buried underground. In the next second, he disappeared on the spot and entered the space ring. With the protection of the space ring, no matter how powerful the bombs were, they wouldn't be able to harm him at all. Rumble, in the blink of an eye, hundreds of miniature nuclear bombs were detonated. A terrifying explosion erupted. It was unknown how powerful the explosives were, but the area within a radius of more than 10 miles was covered. With Xia Ping at the center, the ground was immediately blasted into a deep pit with a diameter of several kilometers. A black mushroom cloud rose into the air with a loud rumble. Even people who were dozens of kilometers away could feel the shock waves of the explosion. The most terrifying thing was the shock waves produced by the explosion. They condensed into a substance and surged out in all directions like a storm, destroying everything. No. Human, you and I will not live under the same sky. The evil demons were so shocked that their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. They were so scared that they almost peed their pants. They didn't expect this human to be so ruthless as to directly detonate so many bombs. Could it be that this human was so unafraid of death that he didn't care about his own life and wanted to perish together with them? They couldn't understand why this human would do this even if they were beaten to death. The moment they sensed the explosion, they frantically fled outside. Some flew into the air, some burrowed into the ground, and some tried to find shelter. But it was useless. Under the explosion of hundreds of miniature nuclear bombs, nothing could stop them. The shockwaves were simply all-pervasive. Any living creature within the range of the explosion would be killed and turned into a pile of meat paste. Thinking about how arrogant they were previously, relying on their numbers to run amok and hunt unscrupulously, they didn't put Xia Ping and the others in their eyes at all. They treated them like livestock that would be slaughtered the moment they caught them. But now, all of them were like stray dogs, frantically fleeing just to survive. In the face of such power, the so-called evil demons were just slightly larger ants. Human, I won't let you off even if I become a ghost. The evil devil chief was furious. It had ruled over hundreds of thousands of evil devils and was above tens of thousands of people. Its status was extremely high, but now it was going to die here so easily. How could it be willing? It fled frantically, trying to survive. However, it was too close to Xia Ping and was at the center of the explosion, so it was the first to be affected. With a boom, it was bombarded by the tyrannical explosive power. Its entire body was smashed into pieces in less than a second, turning into dust and disappearing from the world. Only kings could withstand the shock waves of the explosion. Anyone below the Grandmaster level was an ant. It was the same for the rest of the demons. No matter how they struggled, how they cursed, how they howled, how they screamed, in the face of this all-destroying power, it was all useless. Many of them regretted their actions so much that their intestines turned green. If they had known that this human had such terrifying abilities, they would have never surrounded him. How was this capturing him? This was clearly sending him to his death. But it was all too late. There was no medicine for regret in this world. Several minutes later, hundreds of thousands of evil fiends in the heavenly demon graveyard were completely reduced to ashes in this explosion. At this time, deep underground in a dark space, the soul-devouring beast also suddenly opened its scarlet eyes. It sensed that its strength had been weakened countless times in an instant. It even felt a tremendous backlash. With a puff, it could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Its body suffered heavy injuries. After being sealed for tens of thousands of years, most of its power had disappeared. Now that it was using this power, it had already exhausted all of its strength. But now it was destroyed in an instant. Its hundreds of thousands of subordinates were wiped out in a few breaths. Even it suffered a tremendous backlash. Even its control over the heavenly demon graveyard had weakened significantly. It could no longer close the heavenly demon graveyard's gates. Human, damn human, the soul-devouring beast roared. You actually dared to kill so many of my subordinates. I want you dead. Do you think you can escape like this? It's useless. Even if you escape to the ends of the earth, I will destroy you. It was enraged to the extreme. This reminded it of its defeat tens of thousands of years ago. That defeat caused it to be sealed for tens of thousands of years. Now it was on its last breaths and on the brink of destruction. And this human was the same. He had immediately destroyed its hopes of escaping. This defeat drove it mad. It could not accept it at all. Anger, regret, and other emotions tormented its heart. Far away, at the top of a tall building more than 5 kilometers away, the crow of misfortune, three-eyed giant, Tu Linglong, metal tiger, and other monsters were standing on the top floor of the building. They also saw the explosion of a nuclear bomb and felt the earth-shattering power of the explosion. They were also frightened. From their respective information, they knew that this human's war artifact was extremely terrifying. If they were careless, even a demon king would be severely injured or even die without a complete corpse. However, they had only heard of it before and had never seen it for themselves. Now that they saw it, all of them felt a lingering fear. If Xia Ping had used such a weapon before, none of them would have been able to escape and would have been blown to pieces. What a shocking explosion. Although humans are very weak, they can create such a shocking bomb. They cannot be underestimated. Three-Eyed Giant's expression was solemn. If it had stayed at the scene, it would probably have been blown to pieces within a breath's time, and not even its bones would have been left. However, that human actually took the initiative to attack. He attracted the group of demons to the ambush and detonated the bomb at the same time. The explosion spread more than 10 kilometers. Can he escape? Metal Tiger was slightly doubtful. No matter how fast Xia Ping was, it was impossible for him to be faster than the speed of the bomb's explosion. If he wanted to escape from the center of the explosion in an instant, he would have to be at least at the King realm. You're really thinking too much. That human is simply evil. Only others will suffer, and he won't suffer. Since he dared to volunteer to detonate the bomb, he must have a perfect way to escape, Tu Linglong said with disdain. Tu Linglong spoke with disdain. She didn't believe that the human really possessed such noble sentiments that he would rather sacrifice himself in order to annihilate that group of devils. I'm convinced. Metal Tiger nodded and had nothing to say. Hearing this, Three-Eyed Giant and the other demons nodded in agreement. If this shameless human was to sacrifice himself, it would be easier to let the world be destroyed. Chapter 707. The huge explosion in this place also affected other places, which was sensed by many demons and human elites nearby. After all, it was impossible for them to not know about such a huge commotion. What's going on? Why did such a huge commotion suddenly happen? I've heard this sound before during military exercises. It seems to be the sound of a nuclear bomb exploding. Are you kidding me? A nuclear bomb explosion? Which madman brought a nuclear bomb in? Many humans and demons looked in the direction of the earthquake. They felt the ground trembling, and they felt a little unsteady. The houses trembled as if they were about to collapse. They felt a trace of trepidation. I don't know why, and there's no evidence, but I have a feeling that this is very likely the work of that *TCH Xiaoping. An elite student had a strange expression as he expressed his opinion. I feel the same way. Brother, you said what I'm thinking. It's definitely that scourge who did it. Other than that bastard, who else could do such a thing? I just don't know why. The number of evil demons seemed to have decreased a lot, as if they were attracted by something. Let's go take a look and see what exactly happened. We have to go. Otherwise, we won't even know how we died if we were tricked by that bastard. Many humans and demons were shocked by the earth-shattering explosion. It was unknown how many people could be killed by such an intense shockwave. The area within a radius of more than 10 kilometers was affected, and it could be felt hundreds of kilometers away. It was no less than a magnitude 7 or 8 earthquake. All of them were a little flustered. They didn't know what kind of trouble the *TCH Xiaoping had caused. If they didn't figure it out as soon as possible, they wouldn't be able to sleep or eat in peace. More than 10 minutes later, the explosion finally stopped. However, the area with Xiaoping as the center had a shocking crater blown up. The soil was charred black and even burned to high temperatures, causing the soil to melt into magma, constantly emitting white smoke. Even the central area was filled with extremely high temperatures, hundreds or even thousands of degrees. Even steel would melt under such high temperatures, and the air seemed to be distorted. Shocking cracks appeared on the ground, and the cracks stretched for more than 10 kilometers like a spider web. The surrounding houses collapsed one after another, and rubble flew everywhere. Corpses of fiend demons also appeared in the surroundings. Some were burnt to a crisp, some were split into pieces, and some were crushed to death by rocks. There were all kinds of deaths, and the air was filled with an unpleasant burning smell, as if they were in hell. Pah! At this moment, the rubble rolled, and a figure immediately appeared in the center of the explosion. This person was obviously Xiaoping. He hid in the spatial ring for more than 10 minutes. When the power of the explosion stopped, and he felt that there was no longer any danger, he decided to come out of the spatial ring. Although the temperature outside was very high, but for Xiaoping, who cultivated the pure, yang immortal incantation, it was just child's play. After circulating his qigong slightly, he adapted to the temperature. How tragic! Xiaoping looked around and immediately saw the corpses of the fiend devils on the ground that had been burnt to a crisp. They were no longer as arrogant as before. As for the leader of the nefarious devils, he was reduced to ashes, leaving nothing behind. After this ordeal, the fiends in the sky demon graveyard were probably completely wiped out. Even if there were any left, they would not be able to pose any threat to humans or demons. There seems to be a strange energy fluctuation nearby. Are there still fiends alive? Xiaoping's eyes flashed. His psyche sensed that the spirit chi nearby was in chaos, as though there was something there. Whoosh! His figure flickered, and he immediately arrived at the source of the disturbance, arriving in a house. He saw a huge corpse lying in the middle of the house. It seemed to be a wolf demon, with 3 heads and black fur. Each hair was like a steel needle. It was massive, standing 5 to 6 meters tall and weighing several tons. Its entire body was covered in bulging muscles, filled with explosive strength. It was impossible to imagine how much strength it had. Even though it had been dead for countless years, it still seemed to exude a terrifying killing aura. It had the aura of a tiger that would not fall even in death. This is a demon king. Xiaoping sensed the tyrannical aura and immediately knew that this corpse that had been dead for countless years was definitely left behind by a demon king. Furthermore, it was no ordinary demon king. Otherwise, it would not have been able to resist the passage of time and not rot. There's even a treasured sword. Soon, Xiaoping noticed that the Demon King's chest was stabbed with a 3-foot-long sword. It was entirely red, as though a fire dragon had condensed from it. The surrounding air distorted, and one could vaguely make out a true dragon soaring in midair. With the sword as the center, it constantly emitted astonishing fluctuations. It was as though this sword had killed the invincible Demon King, even piercing its heart. A treasured artifact. This is definitely a treasured artifact. Xiaoping was immediately overjoyed. He never expected to find the corpse of a Demon King here, and a treasured artifact at that. The treasured artifact seemed to be frantically resisting the shock waves from the nuclear explosion. Now that its energy had been depleted, it temporarily lost its true might. It could be said that this was the moment when the treasured artifact was at its weakest. A good chance. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He had previously found many treasured artifacts in the Sky Demon Graveyard, but every one of them was extremely ferocious. Ordinary people simply could not get close. But things were different now. The treasure artifact was weakened by the nuclear explosion and could not exert much of its power for the time being. If he took advantage of this opportunity to completely control the sword, it would not be able to escape. Whoosh! Xiaoping stepped forward and grabbed the 3-foot-long verdant peak. Boom! Immediately, the red sword seemed to sense an unknown threat. Like a cat that had its tail stepped on, the power within the sword suddenly erupted. Terrifying flames spread from the depths of the treasure, crackling as though it wanted to incinerate everything in the world. The temperature rose wildly, destroying everything. But this bit of temperature was nothing but a drizzle to Xiaoping, not even worth mentioning. Refined. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a cold glint. He circulated the pure yang immortal art and injected an extremely pure power of fire into the sword. Bang! After receiving the infusion of the power of fire, the sword suddenly shook violently, as though it had received a huge supplement of energy. It let out a faint dragon's roar. The originally incomparably violent flames submitted at this moment. It's already submitted? Xiaoping was overjoyed. He clearly sensed that the sword's resistance had weakened by who knew how many times. It seemed to have recognized him as its master. His spiritual force immediately permeated it and left his spiritual imprint. Chapter 708. Boom! When Xiaoping completely controlled the sword, the surrounding flames were immediately absorbed. Then, a fire dragon pattern appeared on the sword. There seemed to be many fire characters engraved on it, containing incredible power. Fire Dragon Divine Sword. Subconsciously, Xiaoping felt an inexplicable aura from the sword. Countless information flowed in the depths of his mind. It seemed that this was the true name of the sword. I wonder how powerful it is. Xiaoping held the sword and gently slashed it. The true essence in his body surged, causing the sword to shine brightly. A mysterious power of fire seemed to draw in the fire elements of heaven and earth. Countless flames gathered together, condensing into a sharp, high-temperature fire sword energy. Bang! He gently slashed at the wall on the ground. The incomparably sharp fire sword energy exploded, breaking through layers of obstacles. Immediately, the rocks on the ground were cut like tofu, leaving deep cracks. The flames boiled and crackled. The broken rocks were immediately burned by the flames. In a few breaths, the broken rocks were melted into lava by the flames. What a sharp sword energy! What a powerful flame! Xiaoping was instantly delighted. He felt that this Fire Dragon Divine Sword was definitely an extremely powerful sword. It was incomparably sharp and indestructible. When he held it in his hand, it could at least increase his attack power by several times. Ordinary objects could not withstand the sharp energy of this sword. It could even cut through iron like mud. No wonder this Demon King died under this sword. Its heart was pierced by the sword. It seems that this sword is indeed an incredible treasure. Xiaoping was very satisfied. He did not expect that detonating the nuclear bomb would give him such benefits. Not only did he obtain the corpse of a Demon King, but he also obtained an incomparably sharp sword. This time he was rich. Beep! At this moment, the system's warning sounded. Host, please pay attention. The soul-devouring beast has developed a strong, killing intent towards Master. It has the emotion of hatred. It will pursue Master to the end. What? Hearing this, Xiaoping's eyes flashed. After killing so many demons, it should have consumed most of its strength. But now it still had the strength to pursue him. Boom, in the next second, a huge amount of information surged into Xiaoping's mind, and images appeared one after another. The soul-devouring beast roared crazily in the dark space as a violent dark energy surged. The gigantic chains rattled as if they were about to be torn apart. These voices were like demonic sounds. Ordinary creatures would go crazy and completely lose their rationality upon hearing them. Very quickly, a wisp of mysterious energy split off from the soul-devouring beast's body and continuously devoured the surrounding spiritual energy. It slowly took shape and finally transformed into a smaller version of the soul-devouring beast that was about 4 to 5 meters tall. Even though its body was a size smaller, the demonic might it released still made people's hearts palpitate. It was as if this powerful demonic chi caused the air to distort, creating an illusion of hell. Host, because the soul-devouring beast developed a strong hatred for the host, it paid a great price and tore apart a part of its soul to form an avatar. The system said, this doppelganger not only has a part of the soul-eating beast's abilities, but it also has a cultivation at the peak of the Grandmaster realm. It can sense the aura of the soul, and ordinary hiding methods are useless against it. It expressed that Xiaoping was extremely dangerous, provoking a powerful monster. If he wasn't careful, he would be killed. Fight to the death. Interesting. In order to kill me, it would rather split its soul and condense an avatar. I like to see who will kill who. Xiaoping clenched his fists, murderous. He was very upset. This soul-devouring beast was probably used to being arrogant. It never put anyone in its eyes. Any prey it took a fancy to, any enemy that opposed it would be completely destroyed by it. No one could stop it. It had an arrogant character. It would never allow itself to fail. But this time, he wanted to tell this extremely evil magical beast that it had provoked the wrong person, and that there were creatures in this world that it could never offend. Congratulations to the host, because the soul-devouring beast has a strong killing intent towards a host. You have gained a total of 30 million hatred points. The system prompted. Xiaoping's eyes flashed. He had spent 20 million hatred points to buy the demon-controlling talisman before, and he still had 25 million left. Now, with 30 million, he had a total of 55 million hatred points. It could be said that because of the soul-devouring beast, he had suddenly earned back the hatred points. However, because the soul-devouring beast was sealed, its strength was reduced by more than half, and the power of hatred was also reduced by a lot, so it was only 30 million hatred points. If he had provoked the tyrannical soul-devouring beast in his heyday, it was estimated that it would be an astronomical amount of hatred points, and it was possible to get rich overnight. But if that was the case, he would be dead, and no one would be able to save him. Those hatred points were just fleeting clouds, and it was better to be more practical now. No, it's not that easy to fight against the soul-devouring beast avatar with just this strength. I must be promoted to the Grandmaster realm. Xiaoping had a strong sense of urgency. He felt that it was not so easy to deal with the soul-devouring beast avatar. Even if he had a nuclear bomb on him, it would be very difficult to plot against the other party. After all, the experts who had reached the king realm and above had the power to foresee danger, so it was almost impossible to plot against the king realm experts. Perhaps there were experts who could do this kind of thing and deceive the perception of the king realm, but obviously Xiaoping could not do this kind of thing now. Therefore, he must become stronger in order to compete with the soul-devouring beast avatar. If I want to advance to the Grandmaster realm in a short time, I must find a peerless elixir. By the way, the white spirit ginseng fruit. Xiaoping suddenly remembered the information given to him by teacher Qiushue. If he could get a white spirit ginseng fruit, then it would be easy for him to break through to the Grandmaster realm. After all, he had already opened 7 or 8 meridians, and there were still 4 more to open 108 meridians. All the meridians in his body were opened, and he had the qualifications to be promoted to the Grandmaster realm. Thinking of this, Xiaoping did not intend to waste time here, because it was not long before the soul-devouring beast brewed its avatar. He had to leave this place one step ahead of time. He immediately put the flame dragon divine sword and the corpse of the demon king into his interspatial ring. Whoosh! Xiaoping's figure flickered, and he used the Kuan Peng steps to quickly leave this place. An hour later, he appeared at the entrance of the Sky Demon Cemetery. But at this time, the entrance of the Sky Demon Cemetery was already surrounded by thousands of evil demons. They blocked this place, not letting anyone out. Chapter 709. A human has come to die. Another one has come to die. They're simply coming wave after wave. Kill him, roast him, and eat him. Seeing Xia Ping appear in this place, all the nefarious devils were alarmed. All of them glared at Xia Ping covetously, as if they were looking at prey. They emitted a terrifying, killing intent, and their eyes were filled with mockery. Some humans and monsters had tried to break out, but they all died and became food in their stomachs. Human. The leader of the evil spirits stood out and looked at Xia Ping ferociously. I'll give you two choices. One is to kill yourself. That way, you won't have to suffer any physical pain and won't need to be tortured. The second is to resist stubbornly. We'll kill you ourselves. At that time, you'll be tortured to a state worse than death. There are only two choices. Choose one. It was very domineering and unreasonable. It gave Xia Ping two choices, but no matter which one it was a dead end. The other evil spirits looked very arrogant. They all felt that this was a matter of course. They had the advantage in numbers. No matter how this kid jumped, he couldn't escape from their palms. Choose my ass. Who do you think you're to give me two choices? Why don't you just die? Xia Ping's eyes revealed a hint of coldness. He immediately attacked the group of evil spirits, not wasting any words. The spirit bewitching bell. In an instant, he took out the treasure and poured his earth energy into it. In a few breaths, he had activated the deepest power of the treasure. Ring, 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 ring. With the spirit bewitching bell as the center, the area within a radius of a few hundred meters was immediately enveloped by a strange sound. A strong and strange spiritual wave enveloped the area. The group of evil spirits was caught off guard and fell into the trap. They felt as if their souls were being ruthlessly bombarded by a huge iron hammer. They felt dizzy and lost their consciousness for a moment. Die! Xia Ping held the flame dragon sword in his right hand and slashed at the evil spirits. Four Seasons sword technique, continuous spring rain. From the flame dragon sword, streams of sword chi immediately burst out. These sword chi condensed and turned into the size of raindrops, falling from the sky. However, this sword chi rain was no ordinary sword chi. It was extremely tough like cowhide. At the same time, it was indestructible, capable of cutting through steel. In fact, these sword chis contained the power of flames, appearing deep red in color. The entire air seemed to be ignited by these flames. Crackling sounds rang out, and the temperature rose rapidly. The rain that fell was no ordinary rain. It was a rain of sword chi, a rain of flames. In an instant, countless flaming sword chi burst out and bombarded these evil demons. Bang, bang, bang. One evil spirit beast after another was struck by the sword chi, and their bodies were sliced into countless pieces. Their heads, hands, legs, and other parts of their bodies were all easily sliced off, and their blood splattered on the ground. In fact, the sword energy contained a terrifying power of fire. When it came into contact with the bodies of the evil devils, it was as if they had come into contact with gas, and they immediately ignited. The bodies of these demons turned into huge torches, burning crazily. No, no, no! One by one, the evil spirits let out shrill screams. When they regained consciousness, they discovered that they had already been sliced into dozens of pieces by Xia Ping's sword. They were powerless to fight back. Intense pain spread throughout their bodies. Every nerve seemed to be tingling, but they did not have the strength to resist at all. They could only scream in pain. In a few breaths, hundreds of evil spirits were killed. The leader of the evil spirits was the most miserable. It was the focus of Xiaoping's attacks. Dozens of sword qi attacked it, and it was immediately sliced into pieces. It did not even have the chance to scream. Perhaps it did not even know how it died when it died. The Flame Dragon Divine Sword, the Four Seasons swordsmanship, and Xiaoping's peak martial master strength and the power of his earth energy combined together. In an instant, he exploded with the power of a grandmaster, sweeping away all enemies. Treasured weapon. This human has a treasured weapon. So what if he has a treasured weapon? We have the numbers advantage. We can overwhelm him to death. Despicable human, let's attack together and kill him. The surrounding evil spirits were dumbfounded, and they were all furious. Seeing that this human had killed so many of their companions in an instant, they were all furious. They wanted nothing more than to cut Xiaoping into countless pieces. Fool, I don't know how many evil spirits I've killed. You want to overwhelm me to death? What a joke. Even 100 zeros add up to 0. Xiaoping sneered. He used the second strike with all his might. He had no intention of holding back. He wanted to end the battle quickly and leave the Sky Demon Graveyard. He wanted to obtain the White Spirit Ginseng Fruit and ascend to Grandmaster. Therefore, he did not have the time to fool around with this group of evil spirits. The third move of the Four Seasons swordsmanship, Rustling Autumn Wind. This move was the sword move with the most concentrated killing intent in the Four Seasons swordsmanship. It existed for the sole purpose of killing. Every strike contained fatal killing intent. With this strike, Xiaoping's terrifying killing intent enveloped a radius of 1,000 meters. It was as if autumn had come at this moment. The autumn wind rustled, and all things were silent. Withered leaves withered, and any life would wither at this moment. It was like the twilight of the gods. Whoosh, whoosh, flaming sword qi erupted, but such flames were not violent or destructive. Instead, they emitted a hint of coldness. It was an extreme coldness that chilled one to the bone. The flames of the world were not always hot and could burn everything. There were also flames that froze everything. They contained the killing intent of autumn, like the bone-freezing fire, the flames of death born from the depths of the Yellow Springs. Although this was not the true flames of death, just a fledgling form, it was enough to send chills down the spines of life. Bang, bang, bang. One evil spirit after another flew through the air. They did not even have time to react as wisps of flames swept past. Sword qi like silk slashed at their necks. With a squelch, a trace of blood appeared on their necks. Their entire heads fell to the ground with a smooth cut. Their eyes were filled with shock, as if they did not expect to die just like that. With just a gentle breeze, they discovered that their heads had been removed. They did not even know how they died. Suddenly, in a few breaths, Xiaoping slashed a few times. More than 1,000 evil spirits were slain. They fell from the sky like dumplings, rumbling loudly. This human is a monster. Even though this group of evil spirits did not fear death, they were shocked by Xiaoping's ferocity at this moment. They did not come forward to kill Xiaoping. Instead, they went forward to die one by one. If Yongmeng could kill their enemies, they would naturally not be afraid. The problem was that Yongmeng was only going to die. They were lining up to be executed. They hesitated, wondering if this would be of any use. Good chance.